New York Giant fans, the NFL draft is officially over. Made a video yesterday talking about my overall opinion, my initial opinion on all the picks that the New York Giants made. Kind of wanted to take some time today, being that we're not going to have a lot of Giants live streams right now. It's going to kind of die down. We're going to have the schedule coming out, then we're going to have OTAs. I'm going to have plenty of videos coming up in the coming days. Probably tomorrow I'll start talking about the units. I'm probably going to talk about the defense tomorrow. I may talk about the offense. Some of the impact that players that we drafted may have on this year's roster. Looking forward to doing that off-season content, but kind of wanted to recap the draft, get your guys' thoughts, give my thoughts on the undrafted free agents we brought in. Also, just kind of talk about the New York Giants roster after the draft and evaluating it and talking about some of the strengths and the weaknesses of this football team. Any questions you guys may have about other teams around the league, how I thought they did in the division, and I'm going to say hello to you guys in a second. In the division, I thought the Cowboys actually did a really good job. I'm going to probably have a video going up over our division as well. They drafted heavy defense. We all know they needed to do that. They traded back. They got Micah Parsons. The Eagles had a decent draft, pretty good draft. Washington as well. I think all four teams in the NFC East had a good draft. I personally think we had the best for the simple reason we got as much future draft capital as we did. And that, to me, was the biggest thing to take out of this year's draft, getting a future first, a future third, and a future fourth. And you were still able to fill major needs on this team. So overall, I think it was a really good draft. I think some of the undrafted free agents, two specifically, are pretty interesting, and I think they may be able to contend for a spot going into camp. The Giants, of course, elected to bring on two interior offensive linemen, which, of course, was, a little weird. I think most of us thought the New York Giants were going to draft at least one, if not two, offensive linemen in this year's draft. They elected not to do that. They waited until after the draft, and they brought in two interior offensive linemen. I think Heggie, however it's pronounced, from Florida. I watched some of his tape, read some things up on him. He has a shot to crack this roster, as well as the edge rusher, which we're going to get into as well. So I was impressed with a couple of the undrafted free agents that we brought in. And, we'll talk about the roster and everything else and any questions you guys may have. But what's going on there, Jersey Light Man? What's going on there, Jared Mercado? What's going on there, Delano? Max says I froze for a sec. Sorry about that. Max, man, what's going on, man? What's going on there? Mark, man, thanks for popping in. Once in a while, it may glitch. The volume never seems to go away. So, Dr. Drake, what's going on? Pack Rat, what's going on? Anthony, what's going on? Kaylin, what's going on? Hunter, Emmanuel, Ryan in the house, Assassin in the house, Tornado in the house, MY Giants 26 in the house, Andrew Christopher in the house, Quentin in the house, Crazy in the house, Chris, Scott H, Hakeem, D Wins, Kaylin in the house, Henry Grant, Ryan, what's going on? Yair, what's going on? Cole Gordon, MY Giants 26, amazing guy. Word, thank you. Albin, what's going on? Ryan D, thank you to everybody for being here. But yeah, I kind of wanted to start with some of the undrafted free agents. I did a little research on those guys this morning when I had some time to rest from the live stream, do my video, talk about them, then kind of recap the draft. Any questions you guys may have about certain prospects and the strategy that the New York Giants had in the draft. I think some of us were thrown through a loop, but overall, I like what we got. John, man, thank you very much. Stand up, the entertainer. Even though it was said the Giants wanted Waddle, but you can't sit there and tell me if the Eagles didn't move up and everything stayed the same, the Giants wouldn't have taken Smith. I think the Giants, yes. Listen, John, I predicted the Giants to take Smith. Go back, look at my first mock since February 1st. The day before the draft, I thought we were going to take Devontae Smith. I wavered a little bit after free agency because I started to think about the offensive line, but then I started to hear how the Giants felt about the offensive line. I still thought they were going to address it at some point in the draft, but I thought we were going to go with Devontae Smith the day of the draft. So, yeah, I do think the New York Giants would have taken Devontae Smith, and I think the trade down clearly signifies that. The fact that the New York Giants traded down, never drafted an offensive lineman, and they elected to still take a wide receiver, you're not going to convince me that they had Kadarius Toney on their board above the Heisman Trophy winner and Devontae Smith. So, yeah, I do think, if I'm being completely honest, we would have taken Devontae Smith. Or, well, here's what I'll say, John. I don't know. I'll say this. If we were going to take a player at 11, it would have been Devontae Smith, but the Giants may have still traded down had Devontae Smith been there, and we'll never know. Because they might have said themselves, if Justin Fields gets to 11, we're trading down no matter what. We're going to get our value. We're going to stockpile future picks, and then we'll get our wide receiver at 20. So if they were going to make a pick there, I think it would have been Smith, but they may have traded down even if the Eagles didn't trade up and get him. If I had to guess, they probably would have taken Smith, but we do not know that. But thank you, John, man. I really appreciate it, buddy. And let's see. And Deal, man, thank you very much. Kadarius Toney's success depends upon Jason Garrett. Well, yeah, that's definitely one of the factors, and I know a lot of Giants fans are nervous about that, being that he's not the most creative mind. We brought in Callaway. Hopefully he adds wrinkles to the offense. He's a young, innovative mind. He'll put him in motion, try to get him open, try to use him in a variety of ways. With a player like Kadarius Toney, you have to be creative. He's not your typical just line him up and, call a play. No, you have to use him in a variety of ways. You have to use him to the best of his capabilities. He's a guy that's good when he gets out in open space. You line him up in the backfield. You put him out in the slot. You line him up for go routes. The Giants are going to have to be more innovative with this offense in order to get Kadarius Toney involved as much as they probably should. So I agree with that. Jason Garrett's going to have to open up his mind a little bit, but I think he's going to get help with some of the coaches that we brought in. Pat, man, thank you very much. Yo, with the retirement of Online Big Blue, I'm looking for a new co-host for Mondays, 8 p.m. Seeing if you're interested, bro. Gonna miss Tim for real, for real. I was listening on his live stream. I thought he said that he was going to still work with you on Mondays, if I'm not mistaken. I thought he said that, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I misheard. I'm a busy guy. I cannot commit to every Monday. I'll tell you that right now, because I do the Knicks games. I do Giants stuff. I could come on every now and again. There's no way I could commit to every single Monday. I'm way too busy on my channel and in my regular day life. But I could come on every now and again, but not an every week thing. If I could, I would love to. What's up, Tony B, man? What's going on, Lloyd? What's going on there, May, man? What's going on there, Steve? Thanks for popping in. Says Giants 11-6 in playoffs in 2021. Yeah, I'm hoping we could go 11-6, and I think a lot of it's going to come down to, like I said yesterday, I think it's going to come down to the offensive line. Ultimately, that's what it's going to come down to. It's going to come down to the offensive line and how much they could progress. Obviously, Gettleman and Judge showed that they have faith in this offensive line, and I'm going to trust them. I've had trust in Judge all along the way. He's a smart guy. Gettleman, to me, is a good evaluator of talent on the offensive line, and I just hope they made the right picks last year. I fully recognize that young players could develop more in their second year. They brought in a new offensive line coach, and we have to hope that Rob Sale gets the job done. I tweeted out on Twitter yesterday, you can make an argument that the most important member of this team right now is Rob Sale, and whether or not he could get a huge growth out of that offensive line off of last year. They definitely got better as the season went along, but they were still not a great unit over the last 8 games. And hopefully with the better weapons, defenses, we won't be so predictable. They won't be able to send the house. And hopefully this offensive line could take a major step up. Cruz on, man, thank you very much. Who did you have higher, Toney or Moore? I had Toney Moore higher. That's why in my reaction video, Cruz, on, I even said Toney's name. I said him briefly, and I said, maybe that's a little too high. I actually really like Kadarius Toney, and I had him going to the Giants in my last 6-round mock draft. In the second round, I had Ojari going in the first, so I got the 2 picks right. I just switched them. But I had him as my wide receiver 5, Kadarius Toney. I had Rondale Moore, Elijah Moore 6, and Rondale Moore 7, actually. Both Moores behind him. I did like Kadarius Toney a lot. I said in my video, if they're going wide receiver here, I would go either Bateman or Kadarius Toney. And then I said, Toney, maybe a little bit too early. But I was a big fan of Toney, and I thought he was the type of wide receiver that the New York Giants would be looking for. So I did have Toney as my wide receiver 5. I had Bateman as the 4, but I could understand why the New York Giants, because I do think he fits. He's a different type of wide receiver than we have on this team right now. I can understand why they prioritize Kadarius Toney over him. And the funny thing that came out was Jacksonville came out and said that they were going to draft him at 25. So for everybody that says that it was a reach, yeah, you could maybe argue that it was reach based on the experts, based on the mock drafts. Most people had him going 28, 29, 34, 35. So we reached maybe 10 spots in the first round if you want to go by the experts. But the Jaguars would have taken him at 25 anyway. So if we didn't take him then, we were never going to get him. Now, man, thank you very much, man. I really appreciate it. He says, Tana, first off, thank you and Bad Dog for the excellent draft coverage the last 3 days. I was so happy with our draft, but honestly, we didn't address the O-line at all. How are we going to protect DJ? It's good. Listen, it's going to come down to the young players getting better. Period. End of story. That is going to be the story going into next year. Can Matt Parrott take that next major step forward? Is he going to reach that ceiling that a lot of people think that he could when we drafted him out of UConn? That's what it's going to come down to. Can Shane Lemieux become better in pass protection? That is what it's going to come down to. Period. End of story. The players that we've drafted have to take a major step up. And maybe some of these free agents that we brought in will get in the starting lineup as well. We still may sign an offensive lineman. I want to continue to say that. Last year at this time, we hadn't signed Logan Ryan yet. So especially in a year like this, when so many players were cut, a lot of people are going to be looking for jobs. You may be able to get a pretty cost-effective offensive lineman that could step in. But listen, like Gettleman said from the start, we're going with the young guys, and we have to hope they're right. I have my doubts. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm not fully convinced that Shane Lemieux could be the answer. I have my doubts. I'm not going to lie about that. I have to hope he could take a major step forward. I have to hope that Hernandez could bounce back and have, I actually thought Hernandez was playing pretty good the 2 or 3 games before he got COVID, and hopefully he bounces back, plays well. I worry about one of them playing on the right side because they've never played there. So now you're messing with the chemistry with Parrott as well. So, Yeah, I'm not. That is the biggest concern for me going into the year, and it's not even close. Really, outside of the offensive line, I don't have a ton of concerns. But the offensive line is a major concern for me right now. And we have to hope that these young players progress and get better. I think our wide receiving core is locked and loaded. I think we got a ton of depth there. I think we have a lot of different type of wide receivers. Galladay's the 50-50 guy, could take it deep. You got Ross with speed. Shepard's a really good blocker, good slot wide receiver. Slayton's got some height on the outside. Kadarius Toney, you could do whatever you want with him. We got a ton of depth at the wide receiver spot. We got a ton of depth now in the secondary at the corner spot. We added some nice depth off the edge with 2 of the draft picks in the draft this year, along with Lorenzo Carter and O'Shane Zimenez coming back. I don't have a ton of concerns with this team outside of the offensive line, but that is a big question mark going into the year. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that. John, man, thank you very much. With all these offensive moves the Giants made, does it bother you that it might affect Jones progressing with these crutches now at his feet? He should succeed, but what's he going to do if things go south? See, the thing to me, John, I still think the offensive line is imperative. Here's what I'm going to say, John. If the offensive line is average, I think Dan Jones is going to be good. Does it concern me? So I think basically what you're saying there is, does it concern me that because the New York Giants got him a ton of help, that if he plays well this year, that he might not be the real deal when he starts to lose weapons? I mean, that's a bridge I'll cross when I get there, right? Because once he signs that mega contract, then maybe you're not going to be able to bring in all these wide receivers, right? So I get where you're going there, but what I'm going to say to you, John, is look at the best quarterbacks in the league right now. What do all of them have? Most of them, for the most part, unless they're otherworldly, and even Aaron Rodgers has Devontae Adams, but unless they're otherworldly, they have at least 2 really good weapons. So I think most quarterbacks need weapons to succeed. And you look at this team last year, when Barkley went down, his number one option was Evan freaking Ingram. So he didn't have enough help at that position. We all realize that. The New York Giants have now made Evan Ingram basically the 4th or 5th option in the passing game when you include Saquon Barkley being back. So he needed the help, man. He's a young quarterback. That's what you're supposed to do. Eli Manning, perfect example. Eli Manning, early on in his career, we went out there, we got him Plaxico Burress. Then when Burress left, Eli actually progressed as a quarterback, but Burress helped in assisting Eli Manning growing as a quarterback. And then, of course, guys like Victor Cruz came in, Mario Manningham, so on and so forth, Akeem Nicks. But, so, no, I mean, maybe slightly, but that's something I'll cross when I get there. JD, man, thank you very much. Smoke has said, how you feeling? I'm happy, man. I'm happy. Again, do I think it was a perfect draft? No, but you're never going to have a perfect draft. And I think fans need to realize that are being overly critical. You're never going to have a perfect draft. Would I have liked an offensive lineman in the first 3 rounds? Yes. But do I love what we got in terms of future draft capital? Absolutely. And if you would have told me going into the draft, you're going to end up with a future first that could have easily be a top 10 pick, a future 3rd, and a future 4th. And on top of that, you're going to get Kadarius Toney, a player that I liked. You're going to get Azeez Ojulari, a guy that I figured was going to be a late 1st round pick off the edge, who I think actually, and I said it several times in my live streams, of any edge in this class, in terms of an OLB, I thought he fit our scheme better than anybody else in this draft class. Not saying he was the best prospect, but I think he fits our scheme very well. You're going to get him at 50, and you're going to trade down and get a 3rd, and then you're going to get some of the other guys that we're going to get in this stream with the upside that they have. I would have signed up for that in a second, but I have to hope as a fan that these young offensive linemen can take a big step up. JD, man, thank you very much. Stupid phone deleted my message. Smoke has settled. How you feeling? Tell us your 2 early starters. Oh man, sorry, man, you had to donate again, man. He says, your starting units. Okay, well, I was gonna go over the roster. All right, I'll go over the roster now, real quick. I'll go over the overall roster. I got it written down here. This is without the rookies, and then I'll integrate the rookies. So in free agency, we picked up Kenny Golladay, Adoree Jackson, Ryan Anderson, the situational edge rusher from Washington, Mike Glennon, the backup quarterback, Zach Fulton, he's a guard, Devontae Downs, brought him back, Kyle Rudolph, Leonard Williams, Reggie Ragland, Ifeadi Odenigbo, John Ross, Devontae Booker, Austin Johnson, and CJ Board. Okay? Starting quarterback, obviously Daniel Jones. Starting running back, obviously Saquon Barkley. Devontae Booker will be the primary backup. Wide receiver, I think Kenny Golladay is absolutely the number 1. After that, it gets a little bit tricky. I am going to say, and I know a lot of fans don't want to hear this because a lot of fans love Darius Slayton. I think Shepard is going to be in the starting lineup, and I think Kadarius Toney will be as well. But I think Slayton will still get reps. I think they'll use all 4 of them, but I think the 3 primary guys, just for this year, I think Shepard's gone after this year, will be Golladay, Shepard, and Toney. Now, they'll be creative And they'll definitely have Slayton out there a lot because you could put Tony in the backfield. You could have 4 wide receiver sets. You could do a lot of things with Kadarius Toney. But that, I think, will be in terms of the targets, that's what I'm guessing going into the year will be the 3 primary guys in terms of targets. That's just my guess. I could be completely wrong. And then, of course, the depth after that, Slayton, like I said, the 4, Ross the 5, Dante Pettis right now would have the 6, CJ Board for special teams. Good chance to make the team. The offensive line, you got Andrew Thomas. You got Nate Solder. I think Solder's going to be a swing tackle. He's not going to start. Right now, I have to say Thomas and Baird are going to be the starting tackles. Gates right now looks to be the starting center, and Lemieux and Hernandez look to be the starting guards. Is it possible that Zach Fulton, due to his experience, maybe starts on the right side? He's been a starter in the league for a long time. Sure. Is it possible we could go out there and sign somebody? Absolutely. But until they do, I can't pencil them in for that. Jonathan Harrison, I think, is a solid backup offensive lineman. He's got versatility at the guard and center spot. We're going to get into some of the undrafted free agents, but I'm not going to pencil them in as starters going into the year. Tight end Evan Ingram, obviously, he's going to be a starter along with Kyle Rudolph. I think both of them will get starters reps. Toyola will obviously make the team. We re-signed him. Caden Smith, if they go with 4 tight ends, which they did last year, I think should make the team. I think he's a good player. Defensive line, you got Leonard Williams, you got Dexter Lawrence, you got Danny Shelton. We brought him to be a run blocking, run stuffing specialist. BJ Hill, obviously, is going to make the team. And I figure Austin Johnson, who they gave $3 million to make the team, along with Fedi Adenabo. So I think that's really your defensive line right now. Before we start to implement some of these rookies that may make the team. Off the edge, you got Lorenzo Carter, you got O'Shane Zimenez. Of course, we're going to go with Azeez Ojulari. I think both rookies are obviously going to make the team. I am a little, I don't want to say skeptical. I like the pick. He's got high upside. But our 4th round pick, when I watched him on film, you want to talk about a guy that is built like a pencil. And that's why he's a 4th round prospect. He did have really good, numbers well at college. He went to a small school. He went to Northern Iowa. He's 6'6", 252. I think he's 6'6", 252. And he struggles against the run. The guy is very slender, but he's got good pass rushing moves, and he's got some upside. I don't view him as a starter. I view him maybe as a situational pass rusher at this point in time, but I think he'll make the team. So I think both rookies, along with Carter, Zimenez, Ryan Anderson, I think will make the team. Now, some of those rookies from last year may not. Carter Coughlin may get cut. Cam Brown may get cut. I'm not saying they will or won't, but I don't think they're shoo-ins. Tate Crowder, I think, will definitely make the team at the linebacker spot. Downs is not a shoo-in. Reggie Ragland will make the team along with Blake Martinez. I think Martinez is obviously going to be a starter. And with that second linebacker spot, you'll see a lot of different packages. You'll see Peppers play up there a little bit in the box. Ragland and running downs. They'll get creative there. Crowder as well. I don't think you'll have 2 set starters at that position outside of Martinez. Martinez will be a definitive starter. Off the edge, going in, I have to think Azeez Ojulari is an immediate impact player. I think he'll be starting. I think Carter, if he's healthy, will be the other starter. The New York Giants obviously liked him a lot last year. He fits the scheme very well. He was getting the majority of the snap counts. So I think those 2 guys going in right now would probably be the 2 primary edge rushers. The cornerback position, James Bradbury or Dory Jackson, to me, are a lock on the edge in terms of the starters. Isaac Yiadom will be probably the primary backup. Julian Love as well. He's kind of versatile. I don't think Sam Beal is going to make the team. Darnay Holmes is going to be in a battle. I'm telling you that right now. I think Holmes, in the end, is probably still the favorite to be the starter. But I'm going to tell you what, man. The slot corner that we drafted in the 3rd round, Aaron Robinson, that guy's got talent. And maybe they'll get creative and they'll find ways to get both those guys on the field. Aaron Robinson's going to play in some way, shape, or form. He may not start, but he's going to get out on the field. He's going to get snaps. That guy is aggressive. He will absolutely be an impact player on this team at some point in time. I like the Aaron Robinson pick a lot. They're going to get him on the field. I don't know if he'll start. Darnay Holmes may still remain the slot corner, but Aaron Robinson is going to be involved. Logan Ryan, Jabril Peppers, and Xavier McKinney obviously will get starters reps. So the secondary is locked and loaded. We may have one of the top 5 secondaries in the NFL. Maybe the top 3. Like, it's that good. I love our secondary. That's the strength of this defense. And our edge rushers got better, which is good. So I love our defense. I think our defense is going to be a top 5 unit in the league next year, to be completely honest with you. I think our defense is going to be great with Patrick Graham's 2nd year in the system. I'm a big fan of our defense going into the year. But I just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. Sorry for the run on there, but I wanted to go over the roster and give my thoughts overall after everything. Mike, man, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I love our draft, A+++. For me, I also can't wait for the rookie mini camps. Are going to go over it and let's go Knicks tonight. Knicks by 35. Rockets suck. Can't wait for the Knicks game tonight. Definitely going to be calling that. I call every Knicks game. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have, when news comes out about minicamp and stuff like that, I'll definitely have videos up on it. I plan on going to training camp this year. I'm really looking forward to doing that. I'll do a live stream when the schedule's released. We'll talk about that. I'm sure people are going to be excited about that. And I'm definitely going to have some videos up to pass the time talking about what I think of the overall team. I'll probably do it by units, talk about the impact that some of these rookies may have, and maybe even compare it to some of the teams from within the division. So I have a lot of ideas for videos I'm going to sprinkle in throughout the offseason. So I'm looking forward to continuing to cover the Giants. Cruz on, my man. Thank you very much, man. I really appreciate it. He says, like Bill Polian said months ago, all these moves on the offense is for nothing if you don't improve your line. I agree with that. I agree with that, Cruz on. If the O-line sucks, it's for nothing. I agree with you on that. You know that. I'm a big proponent of the offensive line. You know that. And they better get it right. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to trust the coaching staff. I'm going to trust Gettleman. But if they get it wrong, yeah, heads are going to roll. Heads are going to roll. And hopefully that's not the case because we need the offense to block. The one thing I will say, the things that I think could assist the offensive line, the better weapons. It makes the offense a lot less predictable. We did face like a ridiculous amount of blitzes last year because we were so predictable on offense because we had no weapons on the outside. We had no Saquon Barkley. Getting Barkley back, getting these weapons, getting a guy like Kadarius Toney that could create quick separation, I think will help the offensive line. I'm not telling you we're going to be a great offensive line. I think Jones, more experience in the scheme, should help the offensive line as well, but it's still a major question mark going into the year. Mike, man, thank you very much. He says, I have full faith and trust our O-line. Judge makes me a believer because the coach he brought in, I think we're going to have a top 3 defense. We definitely might. The defense is legit. The defense is going to be legit this year. It's why I was so excited when we got Adoree Jackson. To me, last year, we were a strong second corner and more improvement on the edge away for being one of the elite defenses in the NFL. Well, the Giants went out there. They drafted a guy that many felt was a first-round edge rusher in Azeez Ojulari, who I think fits the scheme very well. And they went out there and they got Adoree Jackson, who's going to be a very good second corner for the New York Giants. I think the Giants' defense this year is going to be so much more aggressive than it was last year. Last year, I think we ranked 19th or 20th in blitz frequency. Expect that to be top 5. Like, we are going to be super aggressive this year. I think the Giants are going to create a lot of turnovers, and I think that also is going to help Daniel Jones in the offense, shorter field position, things like that. Stephen Lilly, man, thank you very much. Hiya, bud. I'll say this. Everyone questioning the O-line. There's a reason we are fans at judging company of the coaches. We have to trust what they know, and I agree with that. I agree with that, Stephen Lilly. You know I love the Hogs, but listen, at the end of the day, they know more than I do. Joe's a head coach of a football team. Dave Gettleman has been involved in football operations for, 30 years. So they're paid to make the decisions. They drafted 3 offensive linemen last year. It's not like they've ignored the position. We just didn't see a lot of production out of the rookies, and they're rookies, so you kind of should expect that. And they're obviously showing faith in those offensive linemen to take a huge step up this year. And as fans, we have to hope that's the case. And if it is, we could have a really good offense this year. Nick, man, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Even if our line doesn't progress, we got 2 firsts. That's true. And we would probably attack the offensive line early and often in the following year's draft. I actually expect us to take a lineman in next year's draft with one of those 2 picks, or potentially trade down if that Bears pick, like I've said countless times, is very high and get more draft capital. Alleged, man, thank you very much. I feel like the Giants are a lot higher on Zach Fulton than we are. It's possible. Let me pull up Zach Fulton's stats. Last year, he was atrocious. I don't even like to go off PFF, but I just want to see his starts because he's actually been a starter in the NFL for each of the last 3 years. I mean, he started 16 games last year. He started 15 games the year before that, 13 games the year before that, 15. He's been a starter his whole career, basically. Started every game his rookie year, started 6 games his second year, 12 games his third, 12 games, 13, 15, and 16. So he's basically been a starter his entire career. It's entirely possible that that's the New York Giants plan going into the year. It's entirely possible. They've done that before. They've gotten stopgap linemen. It's been more so on the tackle spot, like last year and the year before that when they got Remmers, and obviously, sorry about that. When they got Remmers 2 years ago, and then last year they got Fleming. So they may have that same approach today now with the interior offensive lineman. And Eric, man, thank you very much. I appreciate it. If Jones takes that next step, there was 25 to 30 touchdowns and 4,000 plus yards. You think he's going to command 30 to 40 million per year? Seems to be the going price right now. Yes. If Daniel Jones proves to be a franchise quarterback, and in today's day and age, that's what a franchise, if he wins games and puts up those stats, Eric, that's what he's going to get. That's the going rate for a franchise quarterback. That's the way it works. And as Giants fans, you have to come to reality with that. And the sooner you do it, the better. Like you have to, I think as a GM and as an organization, you have to identify quickly if your guy's the franchise quarterback, because the longer you put it off, the worse it gets. You look at Dak Prescott with the Dallas Cowboys. They waited. They ended up paying him a lot more than they would have had to pay him 2 years earlier. So I think the Giants have to identify that, and hopefully they identify it sooner than later. And give him that extension, because the longer you wait, the higher the price is just going to go up. But yes, he's going to be, I'm guaranteeing you, if he's a good quarterback, he's going to get that kind of money. That's just the way it works. John, man, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. He says, is Garrett's play calling going to be a huge circumstance, because with the talent he had in Dallas, he was still ineffective. So is this do or die for him? Yes. Yeah, for Garrett, yeah. Garrett is on the hot seat this year. There's no doubt about it as the Giants play caller. And I think I said it last live stream. I think Garrett could be gone even if he's great this year. If the offense is great, he may get a head coaching job. But if the Giants offense sucks this year, Garrett's gone. The New York Giants have plenty of suitable replacements on the staff to replace him. So if this offense doesn't get it into gear this year, he's gone. He will not be the New York Giants offensive coordinator past this year. What I like what the Giants did, though, was by bringing all these coaches, these guys, they're getting familiar with Daniel Jones. And it's obvious to me that Garrett is not going to be the long-term answer as the OC. He's a guy that's already interviewing for head coaching jobs. He's a guy that's trying to get back in, to be the leader of a football team. So if that's the case, I think the Giants are doing it smart. They're bringing guys in that they feel could be future offensive coordinators. So it's kind of a seamless transition. So yeah, Jones may have to learn a new playbook, but he's got familiarity with the guy that may take that job. I think ultimately that will be the plan. They have several guys on this coaching staff that could take over as the next OC. Mike, man, thank you very much. I appreciate it. You got it. You got to let me know when you go down to training camp, because you know it, man. Oh, I'm definitely going to let you guys know. As long as they make it open to the public, which at this point I think they will. Actually, I was talking to Bobby from Talking Giants, and I was talking to Mike from Mike Too Nice. And, yeah, we plan on meeting at training camp. I don't know the day yet, but I will let you guys know once it opens up to the public. I'll probably go a couple times. And Nikki, man, thank you very much. Who will be the bigger star in New York, Kadarius or IQ? Listen, I love both. IQ is like the most popular Nick. And I love IQ. He's a little overrated by Knicks fans, if we're being honest. He's great. I love him. I think Kadarius Toney is going to end up being a better player. I think Kadarius Toney is going to be a very good player. And I think IQ is going to be a good player. But I think Kadarius Toney, I'm not saying he's going to be Odell Beckham. I don't want to put those kind of expectations on him. But I think Kadarius Toney is going to be a very good player. The only question I have, Nikki, with him is, do we have the offensive minds that are going to be able to get the most out of him? And I think as Giants fans, that's a fair concern. Obviously, you saw the vanilla playbook last year with Jason Garrett. So I think that's a fair concern. Blue Man, thank you very much. Hey, Tatum, my question is, if we trust the staff on not doing more overall for the offensive line, then what else could we have done for an A+ draft grade? Not much. I mean, in my opinion, not much. That was the only knock I had with the draft, Blue Collar, if I'm being honest. What else could you have a knock in this draft? Maybe you would prefer a different receiver, but Kadarius Toney had to be one of your top 2 or 3 receivers on the board. So at that point, it's just a matter of preference, and you have to trust that the Giants are bringing in a receiver that they think best fits their scheme. So what else can you really knock them for? They got an edge rusher that many felt was a first-round grade. They got an edge rusher in the 4th that many felt was a 3rd-round grade. They got a corner in this 3rd that many felt was a 2nd-round grade. So outside of the offensive line, if we're excluding that, and they got all that draft capital, I think they are an A+ grade. But I do think that it's a legitimate knock to say that they could have addressed the offensive line at some point in the draft. But outside of that, I have no complaints at all. Only praise for what they did in this year's draft. Daniel, man, thank you very much. A rookie offensive lineman wasn't going to change much if we stink it up. We got a 1st-round pick. I'm just as excited to see Chicago's schedule as I am. Yeah, we play Chicago. That's going to be a big game. We play Chicago. We got to beat their ass. But you're right, man. That's our pick. So the worse Chicago does, the better for us, man. And I think all Giants fans are hoping that Chicago stinks it up. Word came out that they're actually thinking about starting Dalton the whole year. Now, of course, you hear that. I think I remember hearing the Chargers said the same thing, if I'm not mistaken, when they drafted Herbert. They planned on Tyrod Taylor being the starter for the majority of the season. So you read into it for what you will. But if Dalton's the starting quarterback, maybe you could argue they may win a few more games just due to his experience. You're not throwing a rookie quarterback out there. As Giants fans, I actually think we should be rooting for the rookie to come in as soon as possible. Even though I think Justin Fields could be good, you have to figure he's going to struggle early on in his career. Jason, man, thank you very much. I love the draft. We had Tony Aziz and 2 first-round picks. Getty and Judge knocked it out of the park. Now go get Trey Turner. Let's go win the East. Jason, I'm with you, man. Very few complaints from me. Overall, I'm ecstatic with what the New York Giants did, and they continue to impress me because they think long-term. And, you got to give Gettleman credit for that. You may hate Gettleman. You may want to say it's all Judge, and I get it. You got to give Gettleman credit for that because Gettleman is like 73 years old or however old he is. He knows he ain't going to be the GM much longer, and he's trying to set this team up the right way. Like a lot of people said during free agency that, oh, he's just trying to save his job now. I don't think that's the case. I think he's trying to save his quarterback. He's trying to save the quarterback that he drafted and trying to help him out as much as he possibly can while he's still in the 3rd year of his rookie salary. And I think this draft showed that. Like if he was thinking just about this year, he doesn't trade down. He just takes the best players available to him. He traded down. He got more draft capital, and he's setting this team up the right way long term. And you got to give him credit for that. A pimp named Slickback, thank you very much. I think people need to give Garrett a chance, though. I agree. Remember how great he had the Cowboys offense with Romo and Dez? I say give Garrett a chance, guys. There's no reason not to. We got to give him a chance. And I'm with you. And I say it all the time, and I'm not saying Garrett's great. He's not. He's not this unbelievable, intelligent, crazy, mind. But what I'll say is, for all the limitations people talk about with Jones, Garrett had the same limitations. So let's see. Let's give him a chance like we're giving Jones a chance with the better weapons. Let's see what they do. And I don't think Garrett's going to have full say in the offense anyway. I think there's going to be more cooks in the kitchen, if you will. And John, man, thank you very much. I appreciate it. He says, I know this off topic. Did Dominic Smith have a death wish trying to get Alvarado meet in the tunnel? What needs to happen to get Lindor going? Yeah, I saw that after the fact. Obviously, I think I was streaming when it happened, but I saw it after the fact. Yeah, I mean, we were bound to fight the Mets and the Phillies early on in the season. There's been some tension there. But as far as Lindor, I just think, I've seen this happen with a lot of Mets players. And I think it's the New York pressure, and I'm not going to talk baseball long here, but I'll give you 2 players off the top of my head. Mike Hampton came over to the New York Mets, ton of pressure, was the number 1 starter with a team that we were expecting to go to the World Series. We ultimately ended up going to the World Series. He started 0-5. He ended up going 15-10, 15-5 over his last 20 decisions. Carlos Beltran, his first year here, he didn't play well. Then he had one of the greatest years in Mets history. So I think he's probably a little nervous with the contract, playing in New York, the spotlight, everything else. Lindor's going to be fine. He's a professional. Craig, man, thank you very much. All that matters is that we play the Eagles week 1. I would love that. Under the bright lights, Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night. Let's rock and roll, my man. Let's rock and roll, Craig, man. Thank you so much for being here, buddy. And Air Force, my man, stand up. Great draft picks this year. Undrafted free agent Raymond Johnson. Remember, I want to talk about him right now, Air Force. I was looking at his highlights before the stream. I'm impressed. And I'm not saying he's definitely going to make the team. And I know every year we become obsessed with these undrafted free agents. Giants fans do it all the time. We love our team. We root for the underdog. I like him. Raymond Johnson, defensive end out of Georgia Southern. He's 6'3", 270 pounds. Last year he had 13.5 tackles for a loss, 5 sacks. But when you watch him, I was watching some of his highlights, some of his game tape. Guy is versatile. The guy can play both on the inside and the out. They moved him all over on that line. I think he fits our line, our scheme pretty well. You could use him in, a lot of different types of ways. He's got a quick first step for a guy that's 270 pounds. Looked like he was good against the run as well. So I like him. I think he's a flyer, but I think he's a guy that definitely has a shot to crack this roster. And I actually wrote down some of the talking points that I saw. He was a 4-year starter. And I'm not even going to read the rest of it. I'm just going to tell you what I saw. But he was a 4-year starter. The guy is quick. The guy is quick for a big man, and I like him. I think he's got a shot to make this team. I really do. I do, and I think he fits our scheme very well. I think it was a good free agent pickup by the Giants after the draft. Gilbert, man, thank you very much. Urban Meyer was heartbroken. I know. Yeah, I just said that earlier. Listen, can you blame him? No. All kidding aside, I actually could see that. Kadarius Toney, I feel like fits the type of offense that Urban Meyer would want to run, so I could understand that. And I think what Urban Meyer did, I think he panicked. And he went, he obviously went with the running back, but I think he panicked because that's who he wanted, much like we did when we took Eli Apple. He probably thought for sure, I'm going to get Kadarius Toney. This guy's being mocked 32, 33, 34, and then the New York Giants ended up taking him. And then he took Travis Etienne. But I think they were dead set on taking Kadarius Toney to help out Trevor Lawrence. Anthony, man, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it, man. The center from Florida, yeah, he was a good pickup too. I'll talk about him as well. Anthony, man, thank you very much. We will give the Eagles a colonoscopy live on Fox. That shit, that don't fly around here. That's right. I think we're gonna kill them this year. I think we're gonna kill the Eagles this year. I made a $100 bet with Nitro Freak. I think we're gonna sweep the Eagles this year. I really do. Jose, man, thank you very much. Hey, Chris, do you think Evan Ingram will be better and benefit from all the extra weapons on the offense? Yes. Why wouldn't he? I see no reason why he wouldn't. That doesn't mean he's going to be good, but he's not going to get as many targets. I think he'll be more open due to the fact that you have so many other weapons that the defense has to worry about. I mean, before he was the number 1 guy. Now he's the number 4 guy. I mean, you're not asking him to do nearly as much. Yes, I think Evan Ingram will benefit. Not so much maybe his statistics, but I think he'll be more efficient because of it. I think he'll be much, he will benefit in this offense because of it. He'll get less coverage. So yes. Preseason, it always is. Afghanistan says still making bets with Eagles fans. They don't pay. Oh, that's true. That's right. Last year I made a bet with the Eagle fan. You're absolutely right. He owed me $100. Never came back on my channel again. I don't even remember what the bet was, but I won. Daniel, man, thank you very much. Offense will be 1,000 times better. Saquon back, and like you said, more cooks in the kitchen, including Kitchens. I like that. And my favorite hire, Russ Callaway. I think Russ Callaway could very well be the future offensive coordinator of this team. When I read up on him, I was super impressed. I think he could very well be the future offensive coordinator of this team. Could be Freddie Kitchens as well, but they have a lot of good offensive minds. I remember the coach for LSU was speaking nothing but great things about him, how smart of a mind he is. Everything else just seems like a typical Joe Judge hire. But speaking about the other, I wanted to go over the third undrafted free agent, Jake Burton. I'm not even going to talk much about him. I honestly don't think he's making the team. He played at UCLA, went to Baylor, finished up at Baylor. He's 6'5", 303. He ran a 5'4", 40, a 3.12 on the 20-yard, 8.22 3-cone drill, 26 vert. Everything I read about him, he seemed very blah. Like I don't think Jake. I think he's a camp body. I don't think he's making the team. Hopefully I'm wrong. I'm rooting for the kid. But Brett Heggie, I think it's pronounced, or Hedgie. He's 6'5", 321. I was looking for a video where they pronounce his name so I could pronounce it properly. Couldn't find it. But I watched a couple of tapes on him, watched him in a couple of interviews, came across as a good, smart guy, team leader, played all 3 spots on the offensive line well at Florida. He played both guard positions and the center spot. So that's good versatility. That's the type of player you want coming off the bench. If somebody goes down, you could stick him in a number of areas. I think he has a very good chance to make this New York Giants team, unless we, of course, go out there and sign a more proven offensive lineman. But he was a center at Florida, had a pretty good year. He was actually on the list for, I think, the best center either in the conference or the country, whatever it may be. But he's thought to be pretty good blocker, a guy that was starting to creep up mock drafts as it went through the process, but he was expected to be an undrafted free agent. But I actually think that was a good pickup by the Giants as well, and I think he has an opportunity to crack the roster with the New York Giants. I think Raymond Johnson and Brett Heggie both have a real chance to make the New York Giants team this year, and I like both pickups. You rather Khalil Herbert instead of Gary Brightwell? The reason I think Gary Brightwell made the team, I'm going to tell you why I think the reason why Brightwell made the team. Everything that I heard about this guy, I went all over. Everybody says that Brightwell is exceptional in special teams. I think ultimately that's why he made the team. This past year, he only played in 5 games, I think due to the virus. And he had, I think it was about 380 yards. He averaged 4.4 yards a carry. He does run hard. I'll say that. The clips that I've watched, he runs hard. Puts his head down. He's a hard runner. I think he ran a 4.58 40 time at his pro day. He's going to make the team. I think for sure. But yeah, I think the major reason, I won't say the main reason, but a major reason why the Giants drafted Gary Brightwell is because he's known to be a good special teams contributor. He's 215 to 220 pounds, depending on where you read it. Like I said, thought to be a good special teams contributor. Didn't have a ton of production while at Arizona. 88 carries, 390 yards, 1 touchdown in 5 games. He ran a 4.58 40 time. But like I said, he seems like a hard runner. Could be a good complement in the backfield as a third running back for the New York Giants. And Blue Comment, thank you very much. If the O can get us a nice lead, sacks will go up. Yeah, good point. Our defense played as well as it did last year without any help. You know, you factor that in, they should only play better. And Took to Candy, thank you very much. With all these weapons, who is under more pressure, Jones or Garrett? Judge proved he's not afraid to make changes midseason. How much leeway does Garrett have to get the best out of this offense? It's a great question. I mean, Well, I'll put it this way, took your candy. If the Giants offense is like bottom in the league or bottom 3 or 4 in the league 8 weeks in, he's probably gonna get fired, or at least they're gonna strip him from his play calling duties. I would think if they're like one of the worst offenses in the league, if they start off mediocre and they're starting to gradually get better, obviously I think they let them see it through the course of the season. But if over the first 8 games this offense is no better than last year, which there is no excuses why that would be the case, Garrett's going to get relieved of his play calling duties, I would think. But I don't think that'll happen. I don't think we're going to be that bad. I'm hoping we're at least an average offense this year. But like I said, a lot will come down to the offensive line. But yeah, I would think he would get replaced if it was that bad. AZ Bills fan, thank you very much. Let's go, Buffalo. Psyched about our draft class and think the G-Men killed it too. Excited for this season for both teams. You guys, I liked what you guys did. Now, I'm not in love with Greg Rousseau. You guys drafted another edge rusher as well. I can't remember who it was off the top of my head, AZ Bills fan. I know you took Rousseau in the first. I think you doubled up at the edge, and then I think you took a lineman in the third, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember the players. But I like what you guys did because that is really the only real weakness on your defense. You're kind of like us in that sense. You're great in coverage. You're stout throughout. You're kind of just missing those good edge rushers. Last year, I know you signed Mario Addison. And you drafted AJ Epinesa, but I think you guys drafted in the right area. Let's put it that way. And I think you took a receiver as well late in the draft, if I'm not mistaken. So I think you guys had a pretty good draft. Oh, yeah, they took Basham. That's right, out of Wake Forest. Yeah, they took Basham with their second pick. Yep. Hi, did you know we all have a... Okay. I just clicked the random... That's what happens when you click random names. Is Trey Smith still unsigned? Yes. No. Trey Smith was drafted, wasn't he? Trey Smith was drafted. I think Trey Smith. I think was a 6th rounder. I turned the draft off after the fact, after the Giants were done, because honestly, I don't care after that. But I think I saw on Twitter that Trey Smith was drafted. I think he was a 6th round pick. 6th round pick. Yeah, he got drafted to the Chiefs. That's right. He was a 6th round pick. Yep. Oh, he signed to the Chiefs? Oh, I thought he got drafted. My mistake. I knew he got picked up by somebody. I thought he got drafted. Like I said, I turned the draft off after the Giants were done. Meat Man, thank you very much, man. I really appreciate it. He says, sup, Chris. Looks like a problem with the offense will be getting all the weapons enough touches. Good problem to have. Great job by you and Bad Dog covering the draft. Let's go, Big Blue. Thank you very much. Yeah, listen. As long as we're playing well, I don't think anybody's going to complain with how bad the offense played last year. But sure, yeah. Yes, that's a good problem to have, like you said. I think Barkley's still going to be heavily involved. But at the beginning, I think they'll slowly integrate him back into the offense. They're not going to rush him back in terms of getting a heavy workload. But I think he's still going to be the featured guy in this offense. I think that's what the offense will revolve around. Galladay, of course, will be huge in terms of the deep threat, red zone touches. He's not a guy that requires a ton of targets, though. He's more of a guy that he could, he's going to average 18 to 20 yards a catch, and he's going to catch a lot of touchdowns. So I think you could spread it around a little bit. Tony, I don't think is going to get a ton of targets, but I think he's the type of guy that he could do a lot with the targets he's given if you set him up in the right way. You get him out in open field and things like that. I think they'll be able to spread the targets around. Yeah, I thought he was drafted. Okay, so he was drafted. Yeah, I thought he was drafted. I thought I remember reading that on Twitter yesterday. I thought he was drafted 6th round. Chris, what else do you think? What else do you think we need for icing on the cake? Offensive line, that's it. I mean, Mark, you look at the rest of this roster. I mean, what else do you want to add? I mean, wide receiver right now we're good. Offensive line, we need help. Quarterback, you're not touching. Running back, you're not touching. Right? You got Barkley, and you signed Booker, and you drafted a running back in the 6th. So on the offense, it's really just the offensive line. Defense, you drafted 2 edges. You got 2 edges coming back. There's not going to be a prominent name out there in terms of an edge. If anything, it'll be a depth guy. And at that point, you already got Anderson on the team as well from Washington. That's a situational guy, Fedi Adenabo. So I think we're set there. Defensive line, I think we're set. Corners and safety, we're set. I mean, the real only thing that I could see that is legitimate adding somebody that could make a major impact this year would be the offensive line. Outside of that, I don't think this team has a ton of holes. Now, I'm not telling you we're the best team, but I don't think we have any glaring weaknesses outside of the offensive line. Last year going into the year, if you want to compare last year's team to this year's team, let's go over the glaring holes that this team had going into last year. And when I say glaring holes, I'm going to exclude the quarterback, okay? Because I know everybody's going to say Daniel Jones. I'm excluding the quarterback, okay? But look at the glaring holes this team had going into last year in comparison to this year. Going into last year, the offensive line was a major glaring hole. Wide receiver was a major glaring hole. Cornerback was a major glaring hole. We didn't even know James Bradbury was going to be as good as he was. And the second cornerback after Baker did what he did, we didn't know what the hell was going to happen there. And that was a major weakness all year. So yeah, we had a lot more glaring holes going into last year with this year. This is a much better football team. Colin, man, thank you very much. Jones needed Golladay. Garrett needed Rudolph. I think Rudolph fits the scheme very well. I will agree with you on that. I will definitely agree with you on that. And I think Golladay will definitely help Jones. I think Jones needed Barkley back too. You know, I've gone over that several times. Jones with Barkley in the lineup, I think it's 23 touchdowns and 8 picks in games in which I think it's 10 starts in which Barkley from start to finish played in the game with Jones. And outside of that, Jones is like a horrible quarterback. So I think Barkley coming back helps as well. Makes the offense less predictable. Independent, thank you very much. 1, hope Tony speaks up to Plaxico soon regarding New York City gun laws. 2, Gettleman said in pressure, O-line has no issues. You can never have enough O-line help. I mean, I think he's just trying to display confidence with the offensive line, as he should. He drafted those guys. Those are his guys. I would like to think he thinks we could still add to the offensive line. He always talks about that you could always add more, good players to any position. I don't think he's dumb. I know he's not dumb. He knows that last year the offensive line was bad. I think what he's telling the media right now is I trust the guys that I drafted. I think they're going to mature. I think they're going to get a lot better. That's my take on it. As far as the gun laws, yeah, he better. He better. We saw what happened to Plaxico Burress. He better know what's going on. New York gun laws are no joke. DJ, man, thank you very much. Chris, what do you do if what do you do if we're elite next year in 2022 draft? Do we take best player available or trade down? That's too hard for me to tell you, man. It all depends on the circumstances. It depends where the Bears are picking. If the Bears are picking first, you trade down every day. Every time you trade down. Come up, get Hal. Come up, get your quarterback. If we're picking top 2 or 3, you probably trade down. If the Bears are picking 10, I don't know. It would depend on what the offer was. It would depend on what players are there. But if we were picking at the top of the draft, yes, I would trade down. Kendall, man, thank you very much. I'm starting to come around on the Tony pick. Aziz and Robinson by far the best picks. If the O-line can come through, I could see 10-plus wins. If the O-line comes through, we're getting 10-plus wins. We're getting 10-plus wins if the O-line comes through. If the O-line doesn't come through, 7, maybe 8. The defense might, could probably carry us through some of these games. But if the O-line does not come through, we're not winning more than 8 games if the O-line does not come through. If the O-line does come through, I could see upwards of 11. Maybe even 12 if everything broke right. Obviously, that ceiling, I'm not predicting that. But the O-line is the biggest X factor for this team right now. That is going to determine whether this team hits where they could potentially get to. I like Tony. I like Tony. I'm a big fan of Tony. Stand up. What's going on, Michael Scott? Let's go, Big Blue. Saquon going for comeback player of the year. He better. If he stays healthy, he's winning that award. They might as well name that award the Saquon Barkley Award this year if Saquon Barkley stays healthy, Michael Scott. What do you think the Bears record is going to be? I actually pulled up the Bears schedule. I don't have it on me right now, but I don't remember the schedule at the top of my head, but it's a tough schedule. And I think I said between 4 and 7 wins. I'm going to probably predict 6. But again, it all comes down to their quarterback play. Obviously, if Dalton plays great, they have a pretty good defense. Maybe they could surprise and win 8 or 9 games. But I don't think they're going to do very good. They have a tough schedule this year. I got them at about 6 wins. 6 wins. JDJ, man, thank you very much. As long as Tony is on the roster, I better not see any more Shepard jet sweeps. I'm going to tell you, got a ton of sweeps last year or pitches in the backfield, whatever you want to call it, was Evan Ingram. That's the guy I really don't want to see. Remember, he fumbled it on the pitch against the San Francisco 49ers, but that is one thing that I think goes away. I think Tony will be used in that capacity. Yuri, man, thank you very much. If Lorenzo Carter's a breakout this year, do we keep him? I don't see why not. I don't see why not. Now, again, it comes down to, how much he's going to demand on the open market. But Carter, to me, is a guy, he is perfect for this scheme. I said it last year. I was really excited for him to see how he's going to play last year. It depends on what his contract demands would be. But, that's impossible for me to answer until the end of the year. But if Carter proves he's a very good edge rusher, yeah, I would try to keep him. I think he fits the scheme very well. Seems like a hard worker. Seems like a good teammate. Just had bad luck last year with the injury, and hopefully he bounces back this year. Chris, do you think Aaron Rodgers gets traded to the Broncos? I mean, I heard that they're the favorite. I think them and the Raiders are the favorites. I think they'll trade him out of conference. Remember the Packers, when they traded Favre, they didn't want to trade him in conference. They traded him to the Jets. So I think it'll be an AFC team, and the rumor is he wants to go on the West Coast. So I think it'll be the Broncos or the Raiders. Independent, man, thank you very much. Who are the starting cornerbacks at this point? Well, the two exterior corners are easy. That's Adoree Jackson, the guy we just signed to a $13 million a year contract, and James Bradbury. Those are the two exterior corners. There's no doubt about it. The slot is where it gets interesting. The slot, obviously, Darnay Holmes is going to be the favorite going in, but the guy we drafted is pretty damn good, and I suggest you check him out if you haven't done so. Aaron Robinson has a shot, in my opinion, to at least compete for that spot in training camp. Darnay Holmes was a fourth-round pick. Robinson, a third-round pick that probably should have won in the second. A little bit of a project, so there's a good chance they stick with Holmes to at least start the year, but I could see Robinson pushing him for that. But in terms of the exterior corners, it's a lock. It's Adoree Jackson and it's James Bradbury. DJ, thank you very much. Do you think we are a quarterback away? Jones and line question mark. I think we're a quarterback and an offensive line away. Yes. Quarterback and an offensive line away from being a legitimate Super Bowl team. Yes. Contender. I'm not saying a winner, but a contender. Yes. Because I think we have a top 5 defense, and I think we got more than enough weapons. So, yes, we are a good, I don't even need a great, a good offensive line and a good quarterback away from being a true Super Bowl contender. Yes. And a Super Bowl contender in the NFL is a team that makes the playoffs and could do some damage. That's what a Super Bowl contender is. You don't have to be the best in the sport to win a Super Bowl. We know that better than anybody as New York Giants fans. So, yes. Dependable line, man. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'm predicting us to be the turnover leaders this year defense. I think we could be up there. You know, I have to think about it and look at all the other defenses around the league, but I think we could be up there. I think we could be up there. I think we're gonna send the dogs a lot. Last year, you know, we had a big jump in the turnover differential last year. I think we were even for the year, if I'm not mistaken. We created as many turnovers as we gave up. The year before, we were minus 17. So that to me was the biggest improvement in the team last year in comparison to the year before that. And that's why we stayed in games. We forced more mistakes on the other side, and we didn't commit as many mistakes on our side. This year, I think we're going to create more mistakes for the opposition because of the aggression of our defense. Vinman, thank you very much. Is Beal cut then? Also, I'm sick for Packers. Dude, the way they handled the Aaron Rodgers thing, horrible. Beal's gone. I mean, he's not officially cut. I would be very surprised if Beal makes this team. I would be very surprised if Sam Beal makes this team. I just don't see it. Isaac Yiadom took a pay cut. To me, that signifies that the Giants plan on keeping him. I don't see Sam Beal making this team. Maybe he does. Maybe he has a great camp. Maybe he makes the team. I'm not predicting it. Toes, man, thank you very much. I like Robinson's potential, just not 100% sure on taking a depth corner over a guy like Wyatt Davis, who would have started on the line day one. If he would have started, we don't know that. You know, we don't know. You know, I think a lot of people, not everybody, myself included, a lot of people look at these mock drafts and they just assume, oh, they say great things about that guy. That guy's an instant starter. That doesn't mean the New York Giants evaluated in that way. And the other thing I'll say is he may be a depth guy to start the year. That guy's going to be involved in our defense. That guy's a good player. He's going to get on the field this year. I promise you that. That guy's a good player. There's a reason the New York Giants traded up to get him. That guy's a good player. Blue collar, man, thank you very much. Darnay and Robinson both can play outside if needed. They can. Robinson, actually, ironically, Robinson played slot in college. Darnay did not. Darnay played on the outside. So, yeah, but yes, they probably are both capable of doing it. Raphael, man, thank you very much. Week 1, Giants versus Eagles on primetime. Sign me up, man. Monday night, Thursday night, Sunday night, Saturday night, Tuesday night. I don't care. Give me a primetime game against the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's embarrass them on national TV. Sexy and efficient, man. Thank you very much. Our defense should be top 10 at the very least, and we are loaded with weapons on offense. This is a make-or-break year. I agree with that. I just hope the offensive line doesn't break them, but I agree with that. Nick, man, thank you very much. End of 19 season, New York Giants defense was near last. End of the 20, New York Giants was top 10. End of 20, New York Giants, was near last. So maybe end of 21, it could be top 10. Go Giants. Love the optimism, my man. Hey, things can happen quick in the NFL. The one thing I'll say, I am confident. That's it. That's one thing. And thank you, Allison, for popping in. I'm going to read that in 1 second. That's one thing that I feel when you really think about it, my mind is blown at how fast Dave Gettleman flipped this defense. My mind is blown. 2019, this defense was arguably the worst defense in football. And obviously, Patrick Graham deserves a lot of credit. Patrick Graham's phenomenal. But the players we brought in have performed. 2019, we might have the worst defense in football. I think going into this year, we're going to have a top 5 defense. You're talking 2 years worth of building. That's bringing in Logan Ryan. That's trading for Leonard Williams. Obviously, James Bradbury, Blake Martinez, the free agent signings last year, Dexter Lawrence, who we drafted 3 years ago. So this team, it's pretty amazing how quickly this defense was built. Allison, what's going on? She says, hey, Chris, did you see the vid of Sills and Jones working out together? I did not. I did see them, however, at the Knicks game. Do you think he could replace one of the wide receivers on the roster? Probably not. Probably not. I don't think Sills is going to make the team because there's only going to be 6, 7 tops wide receivers to make this team. And when you look at the wide receivers right now, I mean, right now, Darius Slayton is arguably our 4th best wide receiver. And then DJ, man, thank you very much. Let me just go over the depth chart real quick. But you got Pettis still. I think Pettis would make the team. He's got more upside. He's a former 2nd-round pick, and he played pretty well for the Giants last year. You got C.J. Board, who's a good special teams contributor who the Giants gave some money to. Maybe as a back end of the roster guy, John Ross. John Ross is our 5. I think it's going to be very hard for him to make this team. DJ Smooth, he may catch on with somebody else, but I think it's going to be very hard for him to make the New York Giants. DJ Smooth, thank you very much. I love this team, though, outside of quarterback and line, and this team is stacked. Where are we in the conference in the NFC? I had a bare minimum, middle of the pack. At a bare minimum. We're a playoff team, DJ Smooth. That, I think, or at least a playoff contender up until the very end with a legitimate record. That's my expectation going into the year. I'm not going to sell false hope. I'm not going to tell you, and I hope I'm wrong. I hope I have the most pleasant surprise of all time. But I'm not going to tell you guys I think we're Super Bowl contenders. I'm not going to tell you guys that I think we're NFC Championship contenders. I think we're a playoff team. I think we could make the playoffs this year. I truly believe that. So I'd say top 6, top 7 in the NFC. That's where my head is at right now. And if Jones takes a monumental leap, things change. You know, like Carson Wentz took a monumental leap year 2. Things change for the Eagles. So, you know, we'll see. But going into the year, top 6, top 7 in the conference. That's kind of where my head is at right now. Bueno says, I don't want to be negative, but I just hope injuries don't hit us hard. I mean, injuries are part of the sport, you know, and don't even think about it going into the year, but injuries are part of the sport. Every team suffers injuries in football. It's a physical sport. But the one thing I will say, this New York Giants team is better equipped to handle injuries than they've been in a long time. We have a lot more depth on this team than we've had in a long time at almost every position. So one thing I honestly do believe is if we do have some injuries, I think we have enough talent on the back end of this roster to overcome some injuries to this football team and still remain competitive. But every team's going to have injuries. That's the nature of the sport. I don't know, Blue Collar. It's a great question. I know they added 55 instead of 53 last year, I think. But only 53 gets sued. I can't remember what the exact rule was. But they should. I would imagine they are, due to the fact that it's an extra game. Sexy and efficient, man. Thank you very much. Tony, Slayton, or Shepard is wide receiver 2. Not Slayton. I would say either Shepard or Tony. I'm leaning Shepard. I think Shepard will be the second most targeted wide receiver if that's how you identify wide receiver 2. That's my prediction going in. I could be wrong. That's my prediction going in. I think Shepard will be the second most targeted, at least early on. That may change mid-season. Maybe Tony gets more targets. Maybe Slayton gets more targets. But going in, I have Shepard favored to be the second most targeted wide receiver. DJ Smooth, thank you very much. Are we the best team in New York State, Bills or us? Bills. How could I say us yet? We have to earn that, man. You got to earn that. It's why I never say Danny Dimes. I never say the Buffalo Bills went to the AFC Championship game last year. The Buffalo Bills have a great roster. They have a proven quarterback. They have a very good offensive line. They've got a great defense. They've got a great offensive line calling the plays. How could I say us yet? We have to earn that. Hot take, Kadarius Toney will have a better rookie season than Devontae Smith. I don't think that's that crazy. I'm not saying I'm predicting that, but I don't think that's that crazy. I know Devontae Smith is going to probably get pelleted with targets, but look who's throwing him the football. And what other weapons do they have? He's going to be getting number 1 coverage. So, yeah, he may put up more yards just due to targets and things like that, but Kadarius Toney could easily have a better rookie year, in my opinion, than Devontae Smith. I'm not saying I'm predicting it. I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, with all the weapons we have on this offense, I could see it. Starting OLBs right now, if I had to guess, I think Lorenzo Carter and Azeez Ojulari, the rookies. I think that's our starting OLBs going into the year. I think it'd be Lorenzo Carter and Azeez Ojulari going into the year. If I had to guess, they last year before the injury, they weren't in love with O'Shane Ximines. Ximines couldn't get on the field. You know, if you remember before Carter got hurt, he was getting like 30% of the snaps, if that. So I think old Jolari, who was obviously drafted by this regime, and Lorenzo Carter, if he's healthy, those are my projected starters going into the year off the edge. DJ Smooth, thank you very much. You think Dabo? Oh yeah. And I'm not a Jason, I'm not a guy that blames Jason Garrett for everything. Like some people think that Jason Garrett causes the, wars and, people dying all over the world. Like everything the guy does is wrong. I'm not one of those guys, but it's not even close. The guy's one of the best offensive minds in football. It's not even close. Who will be the second outside receiver and the slot receiver? I mean, again, I don't think they're going to have a set guy. I mean, Slayton's going to play on the outside. Slayton plays exclusively on the outside. He's not going to play on the slot. They're going to move him around. I think Shepard may play some slot, but I think he's going to play on the outside as well. I don't think Shepard is going to be a defined slot receiver now that we got Kadarius Toney. I'll put it that way. I think Shepard will play someone on the outside too. So we'll see. But well, if you do that though, Mark, where does Toney play? I guess Toney's your fourth wide receiver and your gadget player that comes in every now and again. And that may be the way it starts to start the year. I could see that. They don't want to put too much pressure on him. Ultimately, I think Kadarius Toney is going to get more playing time as the season wears along. What's up there, LA Sportsman? Thanks for popping in. Hot take, Zach Wilson will have more touchdowns than Daniel Jones. That is a flaming hot take, Dylan. That is a flaming hot take. Chris, do you think we could sign Trey Turner, Eric Fisher, and Mitchell? Well, definitely not all three, if that's what you mean. And if we were going to sign one, Trey Turner makes the most sense because he's an interior offensive lineman. I think that's where we need the most help right now. Josh, man, thank you very much. Are you worried about the Giants' inability to develop mid-round edges? Carter and X-Men really aren't that special now with old Jolari and Smith. Well, here's what I'm going to say. I mean, maybe slightly, yeah. I'm telling you right now, we do not have a dominant edge rusher. We just don't. And this year we couldn't fix that because there wasn't a dominant edge rusher in this year's class. So you can't really get on the Giants for that. The year before, we couldn't get Chase Young. So we haven't really had the ability outside of Josh Allen when we took Daniel Jones to be able to draft an elite edge rusher prospect coming out of college. But am I worried? No, not really. I'm honestly not that worried because unlike Betcher, I think we have a great defensive coordinator. I think we have a defensive coordinator that could create pressure through blitzing, through coverage. I'm not as worried, not nearly as worried as I've been in the past with James Betcher, because I don't even think in this scheme you need great edge rushers to create pressure on the quarterback. Of course, you want them. It only helps, but I'm not nearly as worried. No, to answer your question, I'm not. Paremo, man, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Let's hope Jason Garrett's play call is more creative this year. I think it will be. I just think it will be. I mean, they've changed the coaching staff. They've given more responsibility to other members of the coaching staff. I think Judge is going to have more hands on this offense this year. But to be fair, last year we couldn't really be creative. I mean, once Barkley went down, we had no weapons, and we had an offensive line that couldn't block for the first 8 games. So we were limited. So that's my answer to that. I don't think it's all Garrett's fault. I hope so, JD. He could. I know who Dave Meggett is. I could see that. And Meggett's a running back, though. But I get the comparison. I could see where you're going with that. I think he could be even better than that. But what do you think about getting that's the center from Kansas City and move Gates to the guard? I'd be okay with that. If they feel like that's the best answer, I'd be okay with that. Listen, if they can bring in an interior offensive lineman, I'm good. You bring it. I don't care if they're a guard or a center. I think we need a more dependable player at one of those two positions, and I'm good. Dependable lineman, thank you very much. Hot take, DJ takes a huge step forward and leads the league in QBR. Wow. That's a flaming take, and that is not a take I'm going to get behind. But I hope you're right. DJ Smooth, thank you very much. Do we need an elite edge in the 2022 draft? And Dalton, yes. Yeah, if we could get one, yes. If you could get an elite edge in any draft, you take them. It's kind of like what the Giants used to do. When you have the opportunity, the 3 most important positions on a football team are the quarterback, the left tackle, and an edge. The quarterback, the guy who protects the quarterback, and the guy that kills the other quarterback. Those are the 3 most important positions on a football team. And if you have the opportunity to draft an elite edge, you do it. In any draft, you do it. So, yes, if there's an elite edge where we're picking, you take them. There were not any elite edges in this draft. Stand up. What's going on, mini guy, man? Thanks for popping in. Oh, you meant for people in the chat. Oh, okay, Mark. The Giants have a top 5 arsenal of weapons. Saquon Barkley, Kenny Golladay, Kadarius Toney, Sterling Shepard, Evan Ingram, Kyle Rudolph, Darius Slayton, John Ross. I'd have to look around the league, but we definitely have above average weapons. Let's start there. We definitely have well above average weapons. I'd have to look around the league, but we're definitely above average. I don't know if it's top. I'd have to think. I'd have to look at everybody's roster, but we're up there. We have really good weapons. What about Jalen Phillips? What about him? You think he's elite? No. Jalen Phillips, when you factor in the injury history, he's definitely not elite, but Jalen Phillips is not Chase Young. Jalen Phillips is not Nick Bosa. No. Good, not elite. Elite to me is, a guy that's going to go in the top 3 picks. Top 4 picks. If John Ross can back to his college days, he will be a problem. Got to stay healthy. Jai, I'm actually really excited, and it was before we drafted Kadarius Toney, so I don't know how much of a role John Ross is going to have now. But I was really excited to see how the New York Giants were going to implement John Ross into this offense because of his speed, and I'm sure they have a plan for him if he's going to make the team, and I think he will. But obviously with Toney now being drafted, I don't think he's going to have as much of a role as he would have had we not drafted a wide receiver. But I'm excited to see how they plan to implement John Ross in this offense. So, having speed can help an offense. There's no doubt about it. And DJ Smooth, thank you very much. Jones or Murray? Kyler Murray? Yet to be determined. I mean, if you talk to fantasy people, they're going to tell you Kyler Murray. But to me, it's yet to be determined. I personally, and Kyler Murray could be great. Could be. But I think he's a guy that's being hyped up by the media that people are saying he's great before he is. He could be great. He ain't great yet. He's got talent. He ain't great yet. I mean, going into last year, Kyler Murray, I think, was 4th or 5th in preseason MVP votes, like in terms of the odds. So, yeah, right now I would say Kyler Murray. He's won more games. He's looked better. He's put up better stats. But do I think it's impossible? No. I don't think it's impossible that Daniel Jones could end up being better than Kyler Murray. I'm not predicting it. But I think Kyler Murray's overrated by a lot of people. At least now. He's got to prove himself. Respond to your DM. I'll try my best, Nick. Tana, do you like the Giants secondary more than the Dolphins? I'd have to look at the Dolphins secondary. I know they have a really good one, but I'd have to look at it. I like our secondary. I'll put it that way. I'll put it up there with most. Yeah, I'm not a big Murray guy personally. I think I'm not saying he can't be great. He could be, but I think he's overhyped. Taco, what's going on? He says, "Hey Chris, would you feel better if we got Trey Turner? He's a 5-time Pro Bowler and only 28 years old. Is he 5? I thought he was a 3-time. He's 5 times. The only thing I worry about with him is he was coming off an injury. I think he got hurt the year before, and then last year he didn't play well. So that's the only thing I worry about there with him. But if it's a cheap contract, I see no reason not to. And I think it comes down to that. He's obviously got ties to Dave Gettleman. If you get him on a cheap deal, I see no reason not to bring him in. I think we could use another veteran interior offensive lineman. You're talking about a guy that's had a lot of success in this league before, a guy that our general manager really likes. I see no reason not to bring him in, Taco. Did you see the reports of Ellerson Smith possibly being drafted as a tight end? Don't believe it, though. It was interesting. I did not see that, Dan. But the thing I'll say about Ellerson Smith, and I watched a little bit of film on him. That guy, I'm not saying I don't like the pick. A lot of people are in love with that pick. They said he was like a 3rd round. That guy to me is never going to be more than just a situational pass rusher. And that could be great. If he could be a situational pass rusher that gets you 7 or 8 sacks, that's great. But that guy's frame he's like a pencil. I could see him struggling at the NFL level, getting bodied, and definitely struggling against the run. Miguel, man, thank you very much. Do you think Judge could develop Smith into a great pass rusher? He's got their that's what's a situational pass rusher, perhaps. Yes. I don't think he's ever going to be an every down player. I could be wrong, but that's just my opinion based off his build. I don't think he'll ever be an every down player, but do I think he could be maybe? It's possible. He's had success at the collegiate level. He went to a small school, of course, but it's possible. He's big. He's 6'6". Nick, man, very much. I hope Darnay is great. I want a signed rookie card. That's awesome, man. I hope Darnay starts. I love Darnay. I think it's going to be a battle in camp, though. And DJ Smooth, thank you very much. Which team outside of the division you want on the schedule? Well, we already know our schedule. I don't know what you mean. Like, what game am I most looking forward to? Is that what you mean? I guess the Chiefs game. You know, us going up against Pat Mahomes. That should be a fun game. I mean, I'd have to think about that. I mean, the Bucks get another shot at Brady. Maybe the Bucks game outside of the division. Juicy, man, thank you very much. Really enjoyed the idea. Signings, wanted a few more, but I'm pretty confident in our team going forward, which I couldn't say with the – yeah, okay, as far as these signings go, and Juicy, man, thank you so much for being here, man. What's up there, Pistol Pete? As far as the signings go, if I'm not mistaken, the reason that we did – I think I saw Bobby actually talking about this on Twitter. I saw a couple of other people talking about it as well. As far as the signings go, I'm pretty sure the New York Giants had so many people signed already. That's why they weren't able to sign more undrafted free agents. Like, I think we got like 90 or 91 players already signed. That's why we were only able to sign 3. And if we wanted to sign more, we'd have to cut more players. I think that's what it was. So I think that's why we only signed 3 players. It had something to do with the 6'6", 262 right now. Oh, he's 262. Yeah, he's got long arms. I think he could be a good player, Jersey. Like, I just don't view him as an every down player. That's fine. There's plenty of great pass rushers that are not every down players. I just don't view him as an every down player. Zany says, hot take, Kadarius Toney will be the best wide receiver coming out of this class. I love that hot take. I hope you're right. And the H Squad, thank you very much. Do we need a new tight end? If so, should we look into a new tight end in next year's draft? I think we need a new tight end long-term, yes. And yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to drafting a tight end. I don't want to draft a first-round tight end, but I wouldn't be opposed to drafting a tight end in the second or third round of next year's draft if there's a really good prospect. I wouldn't be opposed to that at all. We do not have the long-term answer on this team, in my opinion. I don't think Evan Ingram will be here long-term. And Kyle Rudolph, obviously, only a 2-year deal, and he's like 31. So he's not a long-term answer. So long-term, yeah, I think we will need a tight end. Billy, man, thank you very much. You think Andrew Thomas will have a better second year? Yes. I think Andrew Thomas is going to be really good this year. I think Andrew Thomas is going to be an above-average left tackle in the NFL this year. I'm not going to go as far to say Pro Bowl. I think it's possible, but I'm not going to go that far. I think he's going to be an above-average tackle. I think what people need to factor in is a couple of things. One, the guy was playing hurt the entire year last year. That came out after the fact. He had a hurt foot. Two, the coaching was obviously horrific. They were asking him to do, Colombo had him all screwed up. That's why Colombo got fired. And when Judge stepped in, Andrew Thomas looked much better. So I think Andrew Thomas year 2, we're not talking about a joke of a tackle. Like, it was comical to me when people were comparing him to Eric Flowers early on last year. Andrew Thomas is going to be fine. Andrew Thomas is going to be a long-term answer for the New York Giants on the offensive line. I'm not worried about Andrew Thomas. DJ Smooth, thank you very much. Can we beat Tom Brady this year? Can we? Yeah. Will we? I'm not going to tell you that, but can we? Yeah. I think no team scares me. That's how I feel about this Giants team now. I'm not going to pick us in every game, but I'm not going into any week before the year starts and saying there is a 0% chance. No team scares me. No team scares me. Obviously, some more than others, but my point is I'm much more confident in this New York Giants team than I've been in a long time. Blue collar, man, thank you very much. Huge debate in my house. Need everyone's help. If I don't tell you what we are eating, but ask you to pick up mustard, do you walk through the door with Golden Spicy's brown or French's yellow mustard? What do I like more? I'm going to tell you what I like more. I like Golden Spicy's brown over French yellow mustard. I have both, but I like Golden Spicy brown. So if you want my answer, I go with the spicy brown over the French's yellow mustard. But that's just me. Now, some people may say, because that's a specific type of mustard, that you would just assume it would be the French's yellow mustard. Let's see what we got here. Do we need a compensatory? That's a question I've been getting asked a lot lately, Brandon. And I've read conflicting things. So I don't want to give you the wrong answer. I'm going to wait till I hear more about it. I always thought the way that you lose a compensatory pick is when a player leaves and you sign a player at that same position for more money from outside the organization, meaning that I didn't think that Leonard Williams would offset that. But that may not be the case, Brandon. I don't know. So I don't want to say something that I'm wrong about, but I thought that was the case. And if that were the case, yes, we would. But people told me we're probably not going to get a compensatory pick. So I don't want to say something I'm not 100% sure about. Jameson, be good, my man. I saw Richard in the chat. I want to say hello to him. I think I saw Jake as well. Do you think that we have a better defense than the Washington football team? I think it's close. I think they have a really good defense. I think we have a really good defense. Kane said, all right, Kane says we will not get a comp pick. We signed Galladay. Again, I could be wrong, and I'm going to have to look into the rules. But if it's just any player, yes, we don't get the comp pick because he made more than Dalvin Tomlinson. I always thought that it was the same position. Like if a D tackle leaves and you sign a D tackle for more money than the D tackle that left, you don't get the comp pick. Like if you sign a wide receiver, I always thought that it didn't offset it, but I could be completely wrong on that. And that's why I don't want to speak on it. Stand up. What's up there, Jacob? H Squad, thank you very much. Playoff bound, go Giants. Yes, I think we're making the playoffs this year. I'm going in confident. Sexy and efficient, man. Thank you very much. Next year's quarterback class is said to be particularly weak compared to recent years. Do we pick up DJ's fifth-year option and get a quarterback at 23? I can't answer that. I don't know. I don't know what DJ is yet. You know, that's kind of like you would have probably asked the same exact question for Eli Manning in his third year because after year 2, he wasn't a great quarterback. So I don't know the answer to that yet. I can't tell you about 2023 until I see Daniel Jones in 2021 and until I see Daniel Jones in 2022. Daniel Jones' fifth-year option would be in 2023. So if you were going to draft a quarterback in 2023, I don't think you would pick up the fifth-year option. But I can't answer that yet. I got to see how Jones progresses. David, man, thank you very much. If Smith could be close to OC, sign me up. Yes, please. OC is one of the greatest pass rushers in New York Giant history. I say it all the time, and I know that LT was known for the strip sack. I didn't get to appreciate LT. In terms of Giants I've seen, there was no player better at it in my lifetime since I've been watching the New York Giants than OCU Manure in terms of strip sacks. That guy was incredible for his knack of being able to strip the quarterback when he was going in for a sack. OCU Manure was a great New York Giant. Greedy, but great. Held out a couple times due to contracts. All right, I think Vannon just put the schedule. The Bears play the Cardinals, Browns, 49ers, Rams, Ravens, Steelers, Bengals, Seahawks, Packers, Green Bay Packers twice. Yeah, the divisional opponents twice. How many do you think they win? Okay, well, again, it's hard for me to guess because I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is going to be back with the Packers. If Aaron Rodgers is not back with the Packers, they're a completely different team. But, I mean, I'll say they actually sweep the Lions. I think the Lions suck. I think they could get swept by the Vikings if they're starting a rookie, but I'll be nice again. I'll give them 4-2 in the division. I'll say they split with Green Bay because I'm going to assume Rodgers is not going to be back. I'll give them 3-3 or 4-2 in the division, but they're out. But outside of the division, it's tough. Browns is a loss to me. So say we'll go 3-3. Browns is 4 losses. 49ers, I'm going to give them a loss. That's 5 losses. Rams is 6 losses. Ravens 7 losses. I'll give them either the Steelers or the 49. I'm not going to have them losing every one of these games. So I'll give them a win against the Steelers. That's 7. I'll have them beating the Bengals. Seahawks is 8 losses. I'll have them around 8 and 9. And I'm being very conservative. And again, it is impossible for me to predict this right now because I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is going to be the quarterback for the Packers. And I don't know if they're going to be starting a rookie quarterback all year. If they start Justin Fields all year, they might win 3 games. So it's impossible for me to speculate. TJ, man, thank you very much. Do we need Zach Harrison from Ohio State next year? I don't DJ Smooth, don't ask me about prospects for next year right now. I'm going to tell you that right now because I'm not even looking into prospects of next year. I just got done with last year's draft, and I'm focused on this year's team. I'm focused on Daniel Jones. I'm focused on Saquon Barkley, and I'm focused on the New York Giants. I'm not focused on Zach Harrison. I'm not focused on 2022 quarterback prospects. I'm not focused on 2023 quarterback prospects. I hope we don't draft a quarterback until 2035. I want Daniel Jones to be the next Eli Manning. I want him to be the quarterback for the next 15 years, and we'll see what happens. I want to find out what he is this year. I'm not thinking about 2022 quarterbacks. I'm not thinking about 2023 quarterbacks. I'm not thinking about 2024 quarterbacks. I'm thinking about my 2021 quarterback, and his name's Daniel Jones, and he wears number 8. That's my quarterback. I'm not worried about other quarterbacks. What's up there, T-Boy, man? Thanks for popping on the stream, man. What's going on there? Jersey, man. Thanks for popping. Do you still see a sign? Probably not. Probably not. Probably not. Big Pat says, we're all focused on 2021. That's right, my man. Oh, I didn't know I just assumed he's a quarterback, Jared. Like I said, I'm not doing any research on future draft prospects. I'm not concerned with next year's draft. I just assumed he's a quarterback because he always brings up quarterback prospects to me. I'm not focused on next year's draft. I'm focused on the 2021 New York Giants. That's it. 2021 New York Giants. That's it. Chris, so it was hard to be in a live chat during the draft. As you know, I wanted Parsons, but I love what we did. I don't like that we didn't go O-line in the 3rd, but if we bring in Turner, I'll love it even more. Like I said, DJ, I'm not even looking into next year's draft. He's an edge. I will look into next year's draft as the season starts to end, and hopefully that's in the playoffs next year. That's when I'm looking at next year's draft. But my answer to you, and again, the other thing I'll say is it's kind of silly in my opinion. And everybody does their own thing. I know people they're draft heads and they like to think about the next draft already. But to me, it's kind of silly because if you talk to any of these draft heads last year at this point in time, they would have said Greg Rousseau. You got to get Greg Rousseau. He's the next greatest thing since sliced bread. He's a top 5 pick. To me, it's silly to even think about the draft right now because any edge that you're in love with right now you might not feel that way in 8 or 9 months after there's more film on him, after he plays another year. But what I'll tell you, DJ Swoop, is this. Edge and line could very well be our number 1 priority going into next year. Edge offensive tackle could very well be, or interior offensive line, could very well be our biggest priority going into next year. I'll say that if there's a great edge. What's up there, Peter, man? Thanks for popping in. And Moose says, I loved Rousseau before and now didn't want him in the – well, that's what I'm saying. It's still – to me, it's way too early to start thinking draft. Now, if you want to start thinking position, edge, yes. If there's a great edge, yes. Tana, Knicks score prediction tonight. I got the Knicks winning by 15. I think they're going to blow out Houston tonight. Houston's trying to tank. I think we're going to blow them out tonight. I think we'll blow them out tonight. Hakeem says, who is your ideal offensive coordinator? Somebody on the staff. Maybe Kitchen. Somebody on the staff. Somebody with familiarity to Daniel Jones already. I don't want an outsider. I don't want them to bring in somebody with no attachments to Daniel Jones. I don't want an outsider. I think they have enough good minds on this staff. If you're going to replace Jason Garrett, to hire somebody from within the staff. Within the staff. Dylan, man, thank you very much. Which meat for the rest of your life, bacon or steak? Steak all day. I love bacon, but I'm going steak. I'm going steak every time. Every time. Queasy says I'm sad. I need you to smile. I didn't know that, Jai. They're coming up a back-to-back. There's no excuses for us not to beat Houston tonight. No. DJ Smooth. You never have to apologize. Sometimes I get passionate when I talk about sports because I love sports. It's never because I'm mad at you. I always say that. I'm never mad at anybody. Sometimes I'll get into it because I'm passionate. It's not because I'm mad at anybody. No need to apologize. I'm not telling you what to do. You want to look at next year's draft by all means. What I'm telling you is I personally think it's silly to look at next year's draft right now because we don't know what these players are going to be in a year. Chris, do you think Azeez could finally be the edge rusher we've been missing? I don't. I'm hoping and praying that Azeez Ojulari could be the greatest edge rusher of all time. I'm hoping and praying that he could be the next Lawrence Taylor. I'm not expecting that. I do think he could be a good player, and I definitely think he could help our pass rush. I don't think he's going to be a guy that routinely gets 15 sacks, but there's plenty of players coming into the league that I wouldn't have thought that. So we'll see. Maybe with proper coaching, he's only 20 years old. He's got upside being in the right scheme. Maybe he could be great. I'm not having like Chase Young type expectations for Azeez Ojulari, but I think he'd be a good player. if there was anyone you could have drafted, who would it be? See, it's hard. Like, Jai, it's kind of like I said in my video yesterday. Like, it's hard for me. Like, if I was putting myself in the mind of the New York Giants, because obviously I felt differently than they did going into the draft. I thought the offensive line was much higher a priority than obviously they do. I would have at least drafted one in the first 3 rounds. Maybe not necessarily the first, definitely one of the first 3. But if I went into the draft thinking like they do, that the offensive line is we're not even thinking about it, I would have probably taken a wide receiver or an edge. I would have taken a wide receiver or an edge. If I stayed at 11, it would have been Devontae Smith. And I don't even love Devontae Smith. I think he's good, but I was a much bigger fan of Jalen Waddle, but he was the best wide receiver on the board. And I would have said, okay, if I believe in my offensive line, I'm going to give Daniel Jones that weapon. The first round for me, if I'm Dave Gettleman, it's about helping that quarterback because that's my legacy. That's what that's what this team's about this year. The defense was already good from last year, and you saw they got a good edge rusher in the second. So if I wasn't going to go offensive line, I would have went wide receiver. George, man, thank you very much. Julius Randle is going to have a triple-double, and I'm so happy with the first 3 rounds of the draft. Well, the thing that I'm most happy about is the future draft capital, the draft compensation. And DJ Smooth, thank you very much. I brought him up because he's supposed to be Chase and Bosa. I mean, if he's that type of player, the only way you're getting that type of player, you got to be picking top 2 or 3. And hopefully the Bears suck. But if he's that type of player, you take him in a second, man. Clocks, man, thank you very much. If DJ doesn't work out, do not use draft picks for quarterback. We are a more complete team now. Do it the Titans way. No more drafted quarterbacks. I fucking hate you. Clocks, what I'll say about that is it depends on how you feel about the quarterback. Like if there is a quarterback there that you're enamored with and Jones sucks, which hopefully he doesn't, I think you go up and you get him if you can, if it's for a reasonable price. But if not, yeah, and it also, like you talk about do it the Titans way. Well, what if there's not a guy like Ryan Tannehill available? Like, it's easy to say that, but what if there's not a guy as good as Ryan Tannehill available? You know what I'm saying? So I think it's all circumstantial. It depends on who's available next year and what the price would be to move up for said quarterback. Mac, man, thank you very much. Great job this weekend. Daniel Jones must jump into the top 50 quarterbacks this year or it's time to move on. Gettleman did what Aaron Rodgers was demanding. Gettleman did what Aaron Rodgers was. Yes, he got him wide receivers. He got him his pieces that he needs to be successful. Yep. I mean, listen, I'm with you, Mac. I don't want to put numbers on it, but he's got to at least be an average quarterback. I agree with that. By year's end, he's got to prove that he's at least an average quarterback trending up by year's end. I'll agree with you on that. Dave, man, thank you very much. Hi, Chris. With taking 2 edge rushers yesterday, do you think we cut either Carter or Zimenez or maybe both? They both have injury histories. I think it depends how they look when they come into camp. If Lorenzo Carter's healthy, I see no reason to cut him. Same probably for Zimenez. I think they'll both make the team. Zimenez is more likely to be cut than Carter due to the fact that I think they just like Carter more. I think he fits the defense better. Zimenez really doesn't. That's why he didn't play much last year, even before he got hurt. I think they'll both make the team, though. But it depends, though. If he's not fully recovered from the injury, he could be cut. Depends on their health. DJ, thank you very much. Why are you not calling for Aaron Rodgers? I think he's the missing piece. I'm going to tell you, because it's not going to first off, it's not going to happen. That's why. I don't call for things that I know aren't possible. Like, it's kind of like DJ Smooth, like, name the hottest girl in the world. I don't know. First name that popped in my head is Megan Fox. I don't call Megan Fox or I don't try to, get in contact with Megan Fox because I know I'm not getting Megan Fox. So I'm not going to talk about Aaron Rodgers because I know it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. We believe in Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is the guy that Dave Gettleman drafted. Joe Judge has come out and said he believes in Daniel Jones. We're not going for after Aaron Rodgers. We're just not. The New York Giants are clearly showing you that they're thinking long term. They traded down twice in this year's draft. If they were an immediate, just thinking about the here and now, they wouldn't have traded down. Taylor, man, thank you very much. What's your personnel prediction for our defense's NASCAR package, pure pass rush set? So you're saying when we have, this defense is going to be so creative. I think they're going to have a lot of packages where you have a lot of secondary players out there. I think they're going to have a lot of packages where you have 3 safeties, 3 corners, sometimes 4 corners. Because this is a scheme by, I always say it's a scheme by coverage. That's how they're going to generate pressure. But I mean, listen, I think Ifeadi Adenimo is going to be a guy that you can move all around. Gettleman talked about that. You can play him on the interior. You can play him on the outside. He even has some experience as an outside linebacker. He's versatile. Carter, I think they'll move all around if he's healthy. He's even played some defensive tackle in the past. But I think the two primary edge rushers are going to be the rookie and Lorenzo Carter. I think it'll be Ojari and Lorenzo Carter. I think those will be the two primary edges. I think Ryan Anderson will be somewhat involved. And, obviously Zimenez if he's healthy. But I don't really see us having a NASCAR package. It's just a completely different type of defense. Like that was a 4-3. This is a 3-4. I think you're going to have a lot more packages where you have a lot more secondary players out there, more so than like 4 edge rushers at the same time. I wouldn't say he's necessarily good in coverage. He's capable. Like he's solid in coverage. He's pretty good in coverage. I wouldn't say he excels in it, but he's not a liability. I felt like yesterday OBJ was Offensive Rookie of the Year. I was 10 years old then. Yeah, it's been a while, man. Vintage says, Chris, I'd be happy if Aziz is Kiwanuka. Yeah, I'd be happy with that too. Kiwanuka was a great situational pass rusher. Not an every down player, but a great situational pass rusher. And Mike, man, very much. Come on. Don't sell yourself short entertaining. Maybe Megan Fox, if she's seen a picture, she would like you, but you have to get over. Yeah, I know. Kid Keys, man, thank you very much. The 22 draft is loaded with edge and offensive line. Giants have 2 picks. Both lines will be fixed next year. Giants win the NFC East and go deep in the playoffs. Love it. Listen, that's my thought. If we're not trading down and we're going to have 2 first-round picks next year, that's what I want. I definitely want him to be the offensive line. If you get another edge, I'm all about it, especially if he's a high-end edge. Clocks, man, thank you very much. Now, with New York's improvements, I would give Seattle 2 number 1s for Wilson. Also, the Tony pick blows away the Saquon pick because we are a better team now. That's fair, Clocks. I mean, they're also completely different players. I know that, they're both weapons, but they're completely different players. But, and it was later. If you want to talk about value, it was later. And we traded down. We got a first-round pick and took Tony. So, I would probably agree with that in terms of value. Taking Barkley 2 overall, not getting anything. We're trading all the way down to 20, getting a first-round pick, a 4th, and a 5th. I would say Tony, in terms of value, is better. I think Barkley's the better player, but I think Tony's the better value. Octave, man, thank you very much. NFC's draft ranking. Giants had the best draft, followed by the Eagles. Glad the Cowboys didn't address their main problems and insisted on linebacker. I think all 4 teams had a good draft. I really do. I think the Cowboys had a good draft as well. But I would say when you factor in the draft picks that we got, I think Washington had a good draft too. Even though I didn't love their first pick. I know a lot of Washington fans did. I didn't love their first pick. But Jamin Davis or whatever, I like him, but he's all right. He's good. But I thought it was a little bit of a reach. But I think all 4 teams in the NFC East had a good draft. But I think we had the best. When you factor in the draft capital that we got, I think we had the best. Yeah, I thought the Cowboys did good too. The Cowboys went heavy defense. I thought the Cowboys they did good. I hate to admit it, but I think they did good. How do you think we will use our safeties? They'll be out on the field a lot. We'll have a lot of 3 safety sets. I'm telling you that right now. I think you'll see Peppers playing a lot in the box. You'll see McKinney all over the field. It's gonna be very creative. That's gonna be one of the things I'm most looking forward to this year is how they utilize the safeties. But they're gonna be out on the field all the time. All 3 of them. They're gonna find ways to get all 3 of those guys out on the field. They didn't pay Logan Ryan $9 or $10 million a year not to play him, and they didn't draft Xavier McKinney in the 2nd round and not trade down not to play him. So all 3 of those guys will be out on the field early and often. Kelvin Joseph, that was the Cowboys' 2nd round pick right out of Kentucky. Anthony says, Chris, we'll get the number 7 from the Bears. We'll get number 18. Chris, do we trade one of them for the future? I say it depends. Depends on, it all depends. To me, if we're picking in the top 3, we trade down. If we're picking in a spot, Anthony, where there is going to be a great quarterback and Jones is the guy, we trade down. We trade down. And you get as much as you possibly can, and you keep building for future drafts. If we're picking, 5 and there's a great edge rusher there, you stamp at, you take them. TJ, man, thank you very much. Chris, I think Russell Wilson or Watson or draft quarterback is probably if Jones sucks in 2022. He got to show a lot this year, man, since they think he's better. Well, I don't think they think he's better than those players, but I think they think he's going to be better this year. He's better than he's been, I think they think. I just don't see. I really don't see Seattle trading Russell Wilson. I know there's been rumors and crazier things have happened. I really don't see them trading Russell Wilson. In the end, what I'm going to say, in my opinion, I know Kloxic disagrees with me on this. In my opinion, and again, I don't even want to think about this because I want to think Daniel Jones is going to be good this year because I think he will be. So I don't even want to think about it. But if I have to and put myself in that situation where Jones sucks this year, I would sooner draft the quarterback because to me, it's kind of what I said in my videos. When you got that future first round pick, part of what it does is it gives you insurance for Daniel Jones. And I think it's always better to draft your quarterback than trade for one and give up draft capital and get a guy that's 33 that's already getting a max salary. So I would sooner use that extra first round pick, move up, and get my quarterback if I was put in that situation. John, man, thank you very much. In my opinion, our defensive line is still one more draft class away from being like, what? Yeah, I agree with that. And that's, to me, John, that's not the strength of our defense. I think we have a very good defensive line, but obviously it's a different scheme. We don't generate pressure from our defensive end position. But that's not our strength. Our strength is our secondary. So I definitely agree they have a stronger defensive line. And how long is Graham's I think it was 2 years, John. It might have been, I think it was 2 years. I'm pretty sure it was 2 years. We need our coaching staff to stay together for continuity like the Coughlin era. I sure hope so, man. I hope they keep Graham here as long as possible. To me, he's the best coach on the staff. Octave says, I think Aaron Robinson might just take that slot role from Darnay Holmes. Holmes could be our fourth corner. I kind of agree with you. I don't want to say I agree with you. I definitely agree it's a possibility, a stronger possibility than I think some fans may want to hear. I do think it's a possibility. That guy's a good player. And Darnay Holmes is good. I like Darnay Holmes. I'm rooting for Darnay Holmes. I want Darnay Holmes to start. He seems like a great guy. He made a video for me. Stand up. And he's a really smart guy. I love him. But you're talking about a guy that's a natural slot. Darnay Holmes is good. Played well for a rookie last year. He definitely had his hiccups, but he played well for a rookie. But this guy's got a lot of talent. This guy should have been drafted in the second round. George, man, thank you very much. Giants got to have the 8th overall pick from the Bears and the 32nd pick next year. So if we're picking 32nd, I don't care what pick, to be honest. I mean, obviously, I prefer the first. But if we get the 32nd pick, I don't care what pick we get from the Chicago Bears because I'm still going to be drinking. I'll still be drinking from the February Super Bowl win during the draft. Lou, man, thank you very much, man. Stand up, new member. Welcome to the squad, my man. I appreciate it, my man. And what's going on, Asia? Glad to see you. The best offense is the best defense. Drops Mike. Like it. I like that, Anthony. Me and Pizzle made it to... yeah, I didn't get a chance to see that. Oh, is that what you sent me, Nick? On Twitter? I'll check after. I know that Pizzle told me it went viral, so I'm assuming that's what it is. So I'll check after. What's up there, Pasha? What's going on there, Patrick Graham? Glad to see you, Pasha. How you been, my man? You want to see? Let me take a quick look. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see. Nick the Wick. Nick the Wick. Where are you? How did I miss it? I got like 9 messages. That's probably how. Where are you, Nick? Maybe you sent it on Instagram? I think you sent it on Instagram, maybe.
And that was Boris.
Yeah, you sent it on Instagram. I'll try to look after, man. And did we only get 2? Yes. Let me give him a quick shout out. He just popped in, man. What's going on, buddy? What's going on, Max? We did only get, and he's got a channel, by the way. Go over there, check him out. I've been on his channel before. Great guy, great supporter. He's got a really cool, unique channel where he interviews his favorite YouTubers. We only got 2 offensive linemen, yeah. Because we don't have, I don't think we, from what I understand, we have so many people under contract that I think we were only able to bring in 3 undrafted free agents. I'm pretty sure that's the reasoning behind it. Yeah, I think that's the reasoning behind it. So yeah, we've only brought in the 2 offensive linemen that we already brought in, both of who are interior offensive linemen. DJ Smith, thank you very much. Chris, honestly, Daniel Jones, Carson Wentz is the most pressure in the league this year. You agree? The most pressure. That's a good question. I think Daniel Jones is up there for sure. 3rd-year quarterback. They went out there. They got him a ton of weapons. New York on top of it. So Daniel Jones is definitely near the top in terms of quarterbacks under pressure this year. I'll agree there. Yeah, Wentz is under pressure. He's got a ton of weapons over there. Stafford's up there. I think Stafford's got pressure. Stafford goes over to the LA Rams. You got a great team over there. People have Super Bowl expectations. I think Stafford's got pressure. This is a guy that I think people have made a lot of excuses for over the course of his career, myself included at times, with the Detroit Lions. I think he's got a world of ability, but he's never been a winner. Now he goes over to a team that's coming up a year where they made the playoffs. A lot of people feel like they're a Super Bowl contender now with Stafford there. I think he's got a lot of pressure. I would probably label those three as up there in terms of the most pressure. See, I think Mahomes should have a lot. Well, I don't know if he should have a lot of pressure. He's got pressure because he lost the Super Bowl, but everybody knows how good Mahomes is. And he just seems to be like everybody's favorite quarterback where they're going to support him anyway. Chris, rookie defensive player of the year and offensive player of the year. My offensive rookie of the year. I mean, I have to go chalk here. I have to go with Trevor Lawrence. I would probably go with Trey Lance if I felt like he was more advanced, but I still feel like he's a project that's going to have to learn. But I love the San Francisco scheme. But I'm going to go with Trevor Lawrence. Defensive rookie of the year. It's not going to be a corner. I feel like it's very hard to win defensive rookie of the year when you're a corner. I'll probably go with Parsons, and I hate saying that. I'll probably go with Parsons. I'll probably go with Parsons with the Dallas Cowboys. And it helps that you play in the Dallas market, right? Because they get all the publicity. And DJ Smith, very much. A second-year jump as quarterback, who do you love? Second-year jump as quarterback, who do I love? I know everybody wants me to say Olajari. Second-year jump as quarterback, who do I love? That's a good question. I think Herbert actually regresses this year. I don't think I'm going to say Burrow. I think Burrow's going to have a good year. I think he's going to bounce. He might win comeback player of the year. We were talking about, well, what is he coming back from, though, right? Because he didn't play a full year. But I'm going to go Burrow. I like Burrow this year. I think he's going to have a nice year. I just don't like the coaching change with the Chargers. I feel like there's so much pressure under Herbert now this year with everybody saying he's going to be the next greatest thing. I don't know. And I'm not saying he won't be good. I just feel like he's going to be underwhelming. I don't think he's going to hit the expectations that people are setting up on him this year. I think Burrow could have a good year if he's healthy. Octave, Matt, thank you very much. I appreciate it. With the team we've surrounded Daniel Jones with, he should be the best quarterback in the division. I mean, I would still say Dak should be the best, but I would say second best. Look at the talent that Dak has. Dak's obviously more advanced in his career. So, I mean, Dak's still got Zeke. He's still got CeeDee Lamb. He's still, Gallup and Amari Cooper. So I think Dak should. He should be the second. I agree with that. He should be the second best quarterback in the division. Why not Olajari is the reason, and I would love to say him, and I'm not saying it's impossible. I would love to say him. I don't know how big of a role he's going to have with the defense. I don't know what his snap counts. Like Parsons, for example, I think he's going to be out there for every snap with the Dallas Cowboys. I don't necessarily feel that way with Olajari. I feel like the New York Giants are going to have so many different types of, schemes and different formations that they're going to run on defense based off their opponent, based on the situation, whether it be a third and short, third and long. So he's going to get snaps, but I don't think he's going to be on the field like nearly as much as a guy like Micah Parsons. So I think that's the primary reason why I would favor Micah Parsons. John, Matt, very much. Tony solves the DJ issue when he holds the ball too long. If he can't see the number one target open, he could dump it to Tony or Barkley. And if he gets more time, Galladay or Rudolph will be open. It's a win-win. Yeah, yes, that's what Tony's going to help. He's a guy that creates quick separation. He's a guy that for the underneath routes, a guy that can create big plays in the backfield. Tony can even throw as a quarterback. The guy throws 60 yards. He's a former high school quarterback. So he's going to bring a lot of versatility to this offense. And yeah, it's different dynamics. It's doing different things. And you didn't even mention Evan Ingram. Well, I know nobody wants to mention, but with the threats on the outside, the quick hitters over the with Barkley and John Ross, like the speed, the middle of the field should be wide open for guys like Kyle Rudolph and Evan Ingram. So they should benefit as well. Don Berman, thank you very much. Detroit versus everybody. Listen, I'm going to tell you what, Don. I'm going to tell you what, and Don, I'm not trying to insult your football team, but historically, you guys are one of the worst teams, if we're being honest. I like what your team's doing. I don't love your head coach with his introductory press conference, but I like what your team's doing. I do. I like the trade that you made with Stafford. He was going to leave anyway. You got a ton of draft capital, and I love your first-round pick. I loved your first-round pick. Penei Sewell had no business getting number 7. No business whatsoever getting number 7. So what I'm going to tell you right now, I like where your team's headed. Your rebuild, and as a fan, I think you need to realize that. But I like where I like where you're not going to be good this year, but I like where your team's headed. You got all those future picks. You're not going to be good with Goff. You're going to probably end up drafting a quarterback in a year or two. But I love the Penei Sewell pick, and I love all the future draft capital that you have. DJ Smoothie, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Zach Wilson wins Rookie of the Year. No, I mean, it's possible. One thing I'm going to say about they're up there, mile high. They're up there. But I do like what they did this offseason based off their circumstances. I know a lot of Giants fans may not want me to give credit to the Jets. You just shared it with me, Chris? All right, I'll try to look in a second. I know a lot of Giants fans may not want to hear it. I think the Jets had a great offseason. I love the way the Jets are building their team, but they're the Jets. They might screw it up, but I think they had a good offseason. DJ Smith, thank you very much. It's impossible to fail with the weapons we got. Well, if the offensive line sucks, it's not impossible. John, Matt, thank you very much. I only want Ingram to run outside, no more inside. Him going across the middle is a tip pass waiting to happen. If he runs outside, tip. Good. That's actually a pretty good point you bring up there. I don't know if you added me or sent me a message, but I'll try. Let me see. Oh, it's a picture. Let me see. We've all been this Giant fan. Oh, is it? It's just a picture. I guess Barstool tweeted it out. All right, let me share it real quick. I guess Barstool tweeted out Pizzle. There you go. There's the Barstool tweet. I guess they made a video too. I don't know, but there you go. I saw the video. The Jets had such a good draft. Oh my God, Giants. Yeah, the Jets had a really good draft, and I like the way. Oh, you want? All right. You want the link? Let me see. Hold on. I don't know. I didn't see a Barstool video. I saw his video.
Devontae Smith is there. Like, I feel like you got to take. I feel like you got to. Like, if they don't take him, if the Giants don't take Smith, I think the Eagles will. Wait a minute. Eagles are on the clock.
Wait, are you guys not seeing this right now? You guys aren't seeing this. Hold on. You guys are hearing it. Hold on. Because when I clicked the link, I wasn't sharing the link. Hold on.
Why did the Cowboys and Eagles just trade? Oh, fucking God.
You hear it.
They're going to get Smith. They're going to get Smith here. What the f*** are you doing, Jerry? They have to, right? The Eagles were scared to death that the Giants were going to take Smith. Oh, my gosh. I can't. I just can't. No! I swear to you. And you got the Cowboys and Eagles pairing up, tag teaming against the Giants. You got Nick DeWitt corresponding here from LPG's party. What's up, Nick?
We are living out here, man.
Hey, what the f*** are the Eagles going to do? What are the Eagles going to do?
They're taking Smith.
Wait, that's not good.
I know it's not good. We're all mad.
What are they going to do? I hate this team. They're always with us. That's all they do is they with the Giants. They don't want us to make the playoffs. They just with us. Why can't they just leave us alone? Please don't be Devontae. Give the Giants a chance to get Devontae Smith. Give us a chance. Let us pass up on him. Don't take him from us. Here it is. Do something stupid. Don't do anything smart. Ah! Ah! No! God, I hate this fucking team. I was warming up to the idea of Devontae Smith, like, ooh, this is going to be great, a Heisman player, and he hit the fucking Eagles. Thanks to the Cowboys. Ah! Them. You hear me? The Eagles.
There you go. There's the there's the fizzle reaction. That was pretty funny. DJ Swoop says, I like Sam Darnold with Brady as the OC. Yeah, I mean, they got a ton of, especially with McCaffrey coming back over there. They got a ton of weapons over there. They could be really good this year. We'll see. But that was pretty funny. That was pretty funny. That to me, I see a lot of people saying in the chat that was actually not my reaction. I was actually happy when we traded down. That was not my reaction. But he liked Devontae Smith a lot more than I did. I liked Devontae Smith, but I was actually happy when we traded down. I was excited when we traded down. I was once I heard what we got, I was happy that we traded down. When I knew that we got a first round pick, a fourth, and a fifth, I was happy that we traded down. But I know a lot of Giants fans were like that when we missed out on Devontae Smith. Well, that was before the trade down, though. That was when the Eagles traded up. So yeah, okay. I still didn't flip out, but I knew they were taking Devontae Smith. Yeah. Yeah. And Albin says, I can't wait till Smith comes over the middle and gets hit by a 250-pound linebacker. That's right. What's up there? What's going on there, BB? Bro, I'm kind of with you, man. I liked him, but I don't think he's going to be like an incredible receiver. I'm kind of with you on that, my man. And Avery, thank you very much. Have you heard Bill Burr's rant against Philly? I mean, I've seen Bill Burr live several times, and I'll probably listen to it after the stream. I've seen if he did something during the draft, I'll watch it. Bill Burr's actually my favorite current stand-up comedian. I think he's friggin' hysterical. My favorite all time is George Carlin. I say that all the time, but Bill Burr's hysterical. Let's see. Who can we embarrass most live on TV? The H Squad says. Yeah, Bill Burr's awesome, man. I think it's because you like sports too. That helps. Why would the Cowboys even trade with them? Well, why would the Cowboys trade with the Eagles? Here's why the Cowboys traded with the Eagles. And I said it on draft night. It makes sense. Yeah, like when I first saw it, I was like, what the hell? You're trading with a division rival? But if they don't trade, the Giants get him anyway. So Devontae Smith was going to a division rival either way. That's the way they looked at it. They said, we're going to get the guy that we want at 10, at 12 anyway. Might as well give him to the Eagles and get that future draft compensation. That's why the Cowboys did it. Ultimately, I think that's why they did it. I think had Patrick Surtain been there, they were taking Patrick Surtain. That was a surprise pick that two corners went back-to-back right before him. I don't think anybody saw that coming with the Carolina Panthers taking J.C. Horn and then Patrick Surtain going 9 to the Broncos. Had that not happened, I don't think the trade ever happens. I think we get Devontae Smith. Well, I shouldn't even say that. I think we have the option to take Devontae Smith. I think we probably take Smith, but we might have still traded down. We'll never know. The first two, I think it was the first 2 out of 3 vintage I heard. I didn't know it was every pick, but I did hear at least 2 did have legal issues. And that's the Dallas Cowboys. They're notorious for, I think Hardy had like gun charges. Didn't he remember that with the picture with all the guns and all that? So I'm not surprised. The Cowboys historically have brought in guys with not the best character issues. DJ Smith, thank you very much. Have you ever saw a quarterback with weapons failed? Ever? Yeah. Eli Manning, when we couldn't block. You had Saquon Barkley and Odell Beckham. But plenty of quarterbacks have failed when they have weapons. If you can't block, I don't care. Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. He failed for a game. But I mean, there's been plenty of quarterbacks when they have really good weapons. If you can't block, they don't succeed. Chris, I know you love I love him because he's a Giant. Yeah, I know you love DJ, but this guy has no damn excuse. Quarterbacks in the league wish they had what DJ has. If he had a line, sure. These receivers are good. Yeah. What do you think about the Cowboys draft? I think the Cowboys had a really good draft. I think they got great value with Jabril Cox. They traded down and got a future draft capital and took Parsons. I think the Cowboys had a good draft. They went heavy defense. I think the Cowboys had a good draft. They did what they had to do. I think the Cowboys are the Cowboys always draft well. You know, I hate commending them for that, but they do. The Cowboys always have a strong draft. So I'm not really surprised by it. And LL says, what do you think about the O-line? It's questionable. It's the biggest X factor of this season. You know, you know how I felt. I wanted offensive line help. But I'm going to trust Gettleman and I'm going to trust Judge. And they seem to think that we don't need it. They seem to think the guys they drafted are going to mature. They're going to get better. They trust the coach coming in. And their jobs are on the line. That's just facts. At least Gettleman's is. And if the Giants are bad this year, Judge will be on the chopping block the following year. That's just the way the NFL works. It's a what have you done for me lately league. And they know that. So, to me, they better be right. They better be right. DJ Smooth, man, thank you very much. Wait a minute. Will Dave Gettleman be gone if the O-line sucks? Yes. Yes. If we suck, Gettleman's gone. There's more pressure this year. You went out there, you spent a lot in free agency. Matt, thank you very much. Not sure if you are a Matt Miller fan. He's pretty good. I follow him on Twitter. But I like his draft input. According to him and his rankings, Dallas blew their third-round picks. Yeah, I literally, I streamed the draft. I made the video I made last night, and I passed out. I have not even gotten really anybody's takes on the overall draft, so I've not seen that. I don't even, I'm not saying I even agree with every pick Dallas made, but I think they did the right thing by going as heavy defense as they did. And I think Parsons was a good pick where they got him. But I think they did a good job in terms of going defense. And I liked a lot of the players that they took in terms of the value. Maybe you can make arguments whether, when you get to the third round, maybe they could have went other ways. But I think the Cowboys made the right decision going as heavily with the defense as they did because their offense is pretty set. Maybe they could have taken an offensive lineman, in the second or the third round. Their offensive, they could probably use another piece or two on that offensive line. But outside of that, I think they made the right decision by going as heavily as they did on the defensive end. O-line is all about coaching and continuity. And I think that's what the New York Giants are banking on. These guys playing together, growing up together, getting a better offensive line coach. And that's it, man. I say it all the time, man. You could put 5 superstars on an offensive line. If they're not used to playing with each other, you might not get a great product. A lot of these experts are saying the Giants had the best draft in the NFC East. I think they did. When you look at what we got for 2022, I don't even think it's debatable. We might not have gotten the most talent because we only had 6 picks and we traded down twice. But if you factor in the draft compensation we got, I don't even think it's debatable. And Rick Tonimus Prime, man, thank you very much, man, for the $2 donation, man. I really appreciate it, my man. Yeah, we picked up 2 hogs. Undrafted free agents, we picked up 2 hogs. Best draft in the NFL due to trades. Yeah, I'm gonna do a video actually on that, Tim, probably in like 3 or 4 days. I'm going to do a video breaking down every team in the divisions because I want to, do good research and really, see what each team did in the draft in our division and make a video on that. But I'm going to do a video on that of how each team did in the division. Big Daddy, what's going on, my man? We're probably going to close. What time did we? I don't remember what time did we start. We started at 2:20. We'll probably close this out in about 10 minutes because then I'm doing the Knicks game tonight. But I just want to go live, talk a little bit more about the undrafted free agents today, talk a little bit more about the draft, talk about the roster. Because I know after this, not going to be a ton of Giants to talk. I'll have some videos, but in terms of being able to go live and talk Giants, we'll do it during the schedule, which is going to be in 10 days. I'll be live for that. We'll react to the schedule together. That'll be a fun 2-hour stream or whatever. And then after that, it's going to slow down a little bit with the live Giants content. And then it'll start to pick up once we get to, preseason and training camp and things like that. DJ, thank you very much. You got to apologize to Fist Vegas. We need weapons, and he thinks O-line don't matter with weapons. I mean, he's entitled to his opinion. O-line clearly matters. Everybody knows O-line matters. He knows O-line matters. Matter of fact, I talked to Fisk. I talked to Fisk a night before the draft, and Fisk even said I'd be okay with taking Elijah Vera Tucker. He knows O-line matters. He just thinks weapons are more important. Dylan, man, thank you very much. Chris, DW about the line. Down with about the line. Gettleman is going to play guard for us. He's been training to become a hog. Also, your division rankings change after the draft. No, not really. I don't think any team had a dramatic change in this year's roster due to the draft. So not really. I still have the Giants and Washington neck and neck. The Cowboys pretty close, and then the Eagles far behind. I think those three are really close. They're probably within a game or two of each other all year. But I have the Giants as a slight favorite, but Washington's right there. Don't worry. Okay, I wasn't. I wasn't sure what he meant. Hey, Danny, yourself and others keep saying Tony was a reach. I'm not saying he's. Yeah, I think if you go by the mock drafts and the experts, he's a slight reach based on where he was picked. I like the pick. He says, hey, Danny, you and others keep saying Tony was a reach. He was a consensus 1 to 2 round pick, which usually means late first, early second. I don't think it's well, that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's a big reach. Like I could see people saying it's a 10-pick reach, but at that point, like you said, when you get into the back end of the first round, you pick guys that you like. It's not like you're picking top 10. So I agree with you. If you I could see both sides of it. Like if you identify reach as a guy that you expected to go 30 to 35 and you pick him at 20, it's a reach. If you don't identify it that way, then it's not. It's not like an egregious reach. Let's put it that way. And we know that Jacksonville was going to take him at 25 anyway. So if they wanted him, they had to take him. So by that sense, it's not a reach. Agree, but you got to take your guy when he's. I agree. I like the pick. I didn't expect it. I slightly expected. I did mention him briefly in my reaction video before they picked it. I thought he was a great fit. So that's why in the back of my head, I always thought Kadarius Toney was a possibility. But at 20, I was thinking Kwity Paye, obviously. But I thought it was a slight possibility. At 42, I definitely thought it was a possibility if we didn't go wide receiver in the first, if he ever dropped, which clearly he was never going to drop to 42. What's up, Neil, man? Thanks for popping in, buddy. I don't think it's a reach. Most people probably had him as their wide receiver 5 or 6. So, some people may say it's a slight reach. But to me, a slight reach late in the draft is not a reach. That's not a reach. Late in the first round, it's not a reach. Yeah, I did, Taco. I did see what he said about him. I'm with you on that, Moose. Yeah, I think he just said, yeah, I heard you say, I heard you mention that last second. Yeah, because ES as the pick was winding down, because when the pick's on the clock, you're just thinking the guy that you think it's going to be. I was just like, I thought it was going to be Kwity Paye because I heard attachments to Kwity Paye. I thought he obviously was worthy of the pick there. He ended up going the next pick to the Titans. So, and they had attachments to edge rushers the entire draft process, right? They were going to the pro days of all these guys. So my initial thought process was Kwity Paye. And then I'm like, as it's going, I'm like, all right, in the back of my head, as it's about to be the pick, I'm like, all right, hold on. Let me rattle off some names that I think it could be. And then I'm like, oh, wait, it could be a wide receiver. I thought they were going to take a wide receiver at 11. They could definitely be taking a wide receiver at 20. And that's when I shouted out the 2 names that I thought it could be if they went receiver. And that was Rashad Bateman and Kadarius Toney. Those were my wide receiver 4 and wide receiver 5. I didn't expect Toney, but I thought it was possible. And let me see. Mac, thank you very much. But the funny thing is, my last 6-round mock draft, I had those 2 players, our first 2 picks, but it was reversed. I had Ojulari first and I had Toney second. Max says, I freaked out because Micah Parsons is in Dallas, shaking my head. Other than that, it's a great talent. Zach Fulton, Nate Solder, and Harrison is why we didn't draft offensive. Yeah, Mac, in the back of my head before, and that's why I started to cool up a little bit with the offensive line before the draft. I still thought we were going to take one in like the 3rd round or the 2nd round, but I started to cool up because I didn't think it was going to happen because of what you just said. I was looking at the offensive line. I said, well, they went out there, they signed 2 veteran depth guards. They've talked about how confident they are in their offensive line. They seem like they're confident in it. So I really thought they were going Devontae Smith, and I think they were going to go Devontae Smith had the Eagles not traded up. So yeah, and if they didn't trade down, what I'm interested in, if the New York Giants didn't trade down, like say there were no offers, who do you think they would have taken there? Because I don't think they would have taken an offensive lineman. I don't think they would have taken Slater. And I don't think they would have taken Parsons. I never thought they were taking Parsons. I thought the character concerns were. Do you think it was possible that they would have taken Tony at 11? I'm not saying I think they would have, but had they not traded down with Devontae Smith off the board, do you think it's possible they would have taken Kadarius Toney at 11? Vera Tucker, you think they would have went line? You think they would have went Slater? Jalen Phillips, Vera Tucker. I'm not saying I would have predicted it, but that's what I was thinking about after the draft. After I woke up, I'm like, is it possible they would have taken Tony at 11 had they not traded down? I don't think they would have. Well, it obviously wouldn't have been Azeez Ojulari. They didn't take Azeez Ojulari at 20. Why would they have taken him at 11? They took him at 50. So it wouldn't have been Azeez Ojulari. I obviously think it would have been Slater. I obviously think I should no. Let me rephrase that. I obviously think it should have been Slater if they stayed at 11 or Elijah Vera Tucker, whichever their preference would have been. But part of me is like they didn't draft offensive line the entire draft. They obviously didn't value it as a huge need. Part of me was like, I don't know. Maybe they would have taken Kadarius Toney at 11. We'll never know. Yeah, got him. Yeah, I just think they didn't identify. I agree, it would have been a reach, Albin, at 11. But I'm just saying. All coaches made contributions in this draft. I love it. Yeah, man. Parsons had Penei Sewell hazing incidents. Parsons had several hazing incidents, apparently. Yeah, I know. I think that's why I thought that they were going to pass on him. Can we get a little singing? I got to save my voice tonight for the Knicks game, man. Vinny says, Chris, in an ideal world, would you have rather had Waddle at 11 instead of the trade? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no, Vinny. Well, you know what, Vinny? I'm going to say yet to be determined because it depends what pick we get. Like, if we get a top 5 pick, my immediate answer is no. If we get the 20th pick, well, I might say yes. So I'm going to say yet to be determined. It depends what pick we get from the Chicago Bears. But I'm going to lean no. I think I would have rather had Kadarius Toney, a 4th-round pick, a future first that potentially could be a top 10 pick, and a 5th than just Jalen Waddle. And I love Jalen Waddle. But I think I would have preferred the trade down. ES says, Tana, you said it best last video. They're banking on spending assets last draft on O-line, and all we can do is hope they're right. Yeah, that's it, man. That's it. And that's it. We have no say. They're the guys that make the decisions. They drafted 3 offensive linemen last year. They're putting their faith in those players. And as fans, we got to hope they're right. That's it, man. You got to trust the process and hope they're right. And if they're not, we can complain about it all year. There you go. Blue Collar, man, thank you very much. I appreciate it. The Cowboys figured they outsmarted us with that trade, but the truth could have been the Cowboys getting the trade from the Bears. Yeah, in a way, I mean, yes, in a way, you could look at it like they helped us. But now what I want to know, Blue Collar, in the end, would we have made the trade had Devontae Smith been there? I wish, and I don't know if anybody asked Gettleman that question, and he's probably never going to answer it anyway. Because obviously they wouldn't have made that trade regardless. Even if the Giants knew they were committed to that trade, even if Smith was going to be there, they weren't going to make it till they were on the clock because the team trading up, the Bears wanted to know that Justin Fields was going to be there. So I wonder if they would have made that trade if Devontae Smith was still there. And we'll never know. We'll never know. And Rick, man, thank you very much. I appreciate it. The O-line will never be blamed for the wide receiver being slow, and for tight ends that can't block or catch a ball, Ingram is trash. Tony, Galladay, and Rudolph. Well, no, that's 100% true. Last year, we were 7th in the NFL in blocks, yet we had the 27th most passing attempts. That has nothing to do with the quarterback. That has nothing to do with the offensive line. And hopefully adding these wide receivers is going to help that dramatically. So It was definitely a major problem. It needed to have a significant upgrade, the weapons. Anthony, thank you very much. I think they wanted Waddle more than Smith. They should have. Waddle was a better prospect. Looking at Tony's skill set, he compares more to him. If they like Smith more, they would have taken Bateman. I agree with that. I mean, I want to. If we were going wide receiver, I was hoping Waddle would fall. I knew he wouldn't because I even said that. You go back, watch my first mock. I watched it back. I always do that after the draft, and I even said it. I'm like, when I watched both those guys on film, Jalen Waddle's a better player. So I never thought he was getting to us. Skinny man, thank you very much. More weapons, less blitzes, better protection. The Giants solidified a top 10 defense and made it to where nobody could be double teamed on offense. Yeah. And we'll see. We'll see how much it helps the offensive line. It's definitely going to make our offense less predictable. I'll say that. What's going on there, Noah, man? Thanks for popping in. John, man, thank you very much. Do you think the league will give us Philly week 1 so we could destroy them? I already know Judge will run up the score whenever we play them. You know what I'm going to say, John? And I'm super excited about the schedule to come out. I got a feeling, John, we're going to be playing the Bucs primetime week 1. I just got a feeling. Like, we know the Bucs play because they always do that, right? The Super Bowl champion always plays, I think, opening Thursday night. I got a feeling because we play the Bucs, primetime, New York market. Giants are going to be talked up because of their offseason. Brady versus the Giants. I think we're going to play the Bucs week 1. Thursday night football, opening week. I think we're playing the Bucs. That's my I guess bold prediction. I think we're playing the Bucs. An ordinary Pete says 900 watch it, only 4. Can't even get 400 likes. Come on, spike the like. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, hit the like, subscribe, ring the bell. Thank you to everybody for being here. Book it. What's up there, Lefty? Tony is going to be better than Bucs Patriots. Bucs Patriots be a good game. Bucs Patriots be a good game. So the Bucs Chiefs. Chris, the report came out that the Bears offered the same trade to the Eagles, and they said no. Really? Huh. I guess they wanted Devontae Smith. Let me see. And Mike, man, thank you very much. Surprised they took Tony over Bateman / Moore. What current players? I am not surprised. Like I said, I even mentioned it. That's how you know I'm not lying. I even had him mocked in my. I was surprised that they took Tony. I was not surprised that they took Tony over Bateman. And I even had him mocked to the Giants in my last 6-round mock draft because I thought he was the type of wide receiver they could be looking for, and I definitely liked him above Rondale Moore. Rondale Moore, the injuries concerns alone scared me off of him. So I'm not. If they were going receiver, I thought it was either Bateman or Tony, and I'm not surprised they chose Tony. What current player? Curtis Samuel, I think, is a good comparison. I think he's got more upside than Curtis Samuel, but I think he's that type of player. Like, I think that's a good comparison. He's that type of player, like that shifty guy that could do. You know, you put him in the slot. He could play on the outside. He creates good separation. He could play the running back. Curtis Samuel is my comparison for Kadarius Toney, but I think Tony's got more upside. PTA Sports, my man. If you haven't done so, go over there, subscribe to him, man. Thank you so much for being here. Boy, that draft escalated quickly. You should be happy, Giants fan. You should be ecstatic, Giants fans. I think we had a great draft. I think we helped ourselves in the present and in the future. So yeah, I mean, the Tyreek Hill I could see just because of the speed and the size. I don't know. To me, he's more like I don't know. Curtis Samuel. I'm hoping better than Samuel, but that type of guy to me. And I know fans want me to say like Odell Beckham. I hope. I hope. Percy Harvin. Yeah, Percy Harvin's a good comparison. Percy Harvin was a great player before he went down. No, he better be better than Devin Hester. Devin Hester is going to probably be a Hall of Famer just because he was an unbelievable kick returner. But as a wide receiver, he wasn't very good. He was just a straight line speed guy. Yeah, well, Percy Harvin is a natural comparison because they both went to Florida. They both are a similar type of wide receiver. So yeah, Percy Harvin's a good comparison. I could see Cruz, Matt. I could see Cruz, especially when you watch some of those highlights, how he breaks the tackles in the middle of the field, and I could see Victor Cruz in him a little bit. I could see that. I could see Victor Cruz in that. I think that's a good one. I've seen a couple people say that. I see more Cruz than Beckham. What's going on there, Angel Man? Thanks for popping in. Chris, would you pick us week 1 versus the Bucks? If it's in Tampa, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, no. But I think we'll give them a good game. But Tampa, to me, is probably the best team in football. I mean, they were dominant at the end of the year. They brought everybody back. I think we'd go toe-to-toe. I don't think we're going to get embarrassed. But I'd probably pick Tampa. I wouldn't be shocked if we beat them, though. But I'd probably pick Tampa. Alvin Kamara, different position, but I the shiftiness, the elusiveness, I could see it a little bit. I mean, it's impossible to tell if he'll be a star or not, but I think he definitely could be if he's used in the right way. Tana, can you read my last comment? Moose, let me try real quick. Moose, where are you? Where are you, Moose? Where are you, Moose? Where are you, Moose? Oh, there you are. Tana, would you be pissed if we had to trade pick 11 to the Bears for 1 second and 2/3 and took Tony at 20? All right, trade 11 to the Bears. So obviously we're getting the 20 and we get a second and 2/3. I wouldn't have been pissed. No. I like the deal. We got better, but I wouldn't have been pissed. No. But I take the first round pick every time. But no, I wouldn't have been pissed with that deal. You get the 20th pick. You get a second this year and then a third this year and a third next year. I wouldn't have been pissed with that. I like the deal. We got better, though. Tudo, man. Thank you very much. Ciao, my Goombot Chris. I'm a 4th G Giants loyal Italian fan from Sicily, Italy, and support my team with all the decisions, rain or shine, 24/7, 365. My man, Tudo. Hope you're doing well, my man. Thanks for popping in, buddy, from Italia. I'm sorry you just popped in, too. I am going to be live later tonight, though. You know that during the Knicks game. But I think I am going to call it a stream. I only wanted to go for about 2 hours. I want to talk to you guys a little bit more, recapping the draft, talking about the undrafted free agents, talking about the current roster. And I know you guys were probably still pumped up about the draft. Wanted to recap it a little more. So I figured I'd go live. I'm going to be live probably with Bad Dog on his channel this week, recapping the draft a little bit more. I think that's going to be like Thursday or Friday. And then the next time I'll probably be live talking Giants, unless something big happens, will probably be for the schedule reveal. And I'm going to have a lot of videos up in the meantime over the next week or so. So thank you guys so much. I'm going to be live tonight for the Knicks. Looking forward to that. And tomorrow for the Knicks, a back-to-back. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Really appreciate all the support. Super excited about this Giants team right now. I cannot wait until the offseason gets kicking, man. It's going to be a really fun season on the channel. I can't wait for NFL regular season. Can't wait for the Knicks playoffs. You know that. I can't wait for the Knicks playoffs. But really can't wait for the Giants regular season to get underway. It's going to be so fun this year. Going to go in with high expectations, and I cannot wait to see how it all plays out. Max, man, thank you very much. I appreciate it. So is Tony officially wearing number 1? I have not heard anything about the Giants numbers. I've not heard anything about. Actually, matter of fact, I heard somebody complaining about that on Twitter, that the Giants are taking a long time to reveal the numbers. I hope he wears number 1. I feel like he's the type of receiver that should wear a low number. Like he's that small, shifty, quick receiver. It would look weird to have like a number 80 on a guy like Tony. I like number 1 on Tony. But guys, number 1's retired. So there you go. He will not be number 1. So guys, thank you guys so much for being here. Appreciate it. You guys are the best. And I'll see you soon. You guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. And yeah, you guys are the best. Thank you guys so much for being the best supporters on YouTube.